witness and behold your magnificence, your holiness, your mystery, and your grace under our command. O Lord of hosts, we call upon you. We call upon you to heal. We call upon you to provide succor to those of them who are inconsolable. We ask you to come and strengthen those who are weak. We ask you to restore hope where there is hopelessness. We ask you for inclusion where there is destitution. We ask you for one brotherhood, one camaraderie, one bone, one blood, and one flesh of your children. The Efiks and the Bibios, the Izon, the Shekiri, the Isobos, and also those of them from Isoko. We are traveling all the way to the lands of Igala. We are moving on from there to Idoma, to Igede, to the territories of the Igbo land. All these places we dedicate unto thee. All these lands of yours, we ask you to cover it with your mercy. Because Biafra will come, and when it does, we will dance on the streets. I'm telling you, by the time that we are done, humanity will think that we are mad, we are drunk in your glory, and rightfully so, because your kingdom will come to rest upon this very earth. That very kingdom is the unadulterated, non-negotiable sovereignty of the Republic of Biafra, that your will may be fulfilled in our time. All this we pray, all these we ask for, in no other name apart from that name that belongs to you. He said.
So that was our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, praying. And that prayer to me is a very special prayer that no one can replace. Even if I try to pray it, I don't think I can pray the way our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu prayed. That is why I always like to play it, so that he keep reminding us of our leader and what he stands for. So I want to say thank you very much for joining me, Pastor EMEKA. I hope everybody has been waiting to hear from you as well. And then I can see comments everywhere. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you for your comments. I believe there will be opportunity for you. There will be opportunity for you to ask questions, for you to call in and ask questions, hopefully as time goes. Welcome, Pastor EMEKA Livingstone. Of course, everybody here know my name. My name is Akparawa Nsima. I'm from Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom is Biafra. Cross Rivers is Biafra. And we must continue to protect and defend our land. Thank you very much for joining me, Pastor EMEKA. As is in my habit, I will always allow my guests to introduce his or herself. So welcome, Pastor EMEKA. Please, can we meet you, please? Go ahead.
Thank you, Nsima. Before I introduce myself, I've always said this name, Akparawa. What does it mean? It's a very popular name among the people from your side.
Yeah, so Akparawa is just like a young man.
Okay.
Young man, Akparawa. So because Amazi is like somebody like Mr. So, but for young people, we like, instead of us to say Mazi, we can say Akparawa, because elderly person we say Obong. Yeah. So for me, I'm still Akparawa for now. Even as I'm
language, Mazi is for an elderly person, especially somebody whose father has died. Like where I come from, I am about 62 years. If my father is not dead, I will not be entitled to the name Mazi according to my tradition. But if my father is dead, I could be. But on a general note, within the Igbo land, if Mazi is referred to grown-up men, elderly men, then those young boys as Nwokorobia, more hair, more, something like that. Okay, my name is EMEKA Gospel, and I live in Maryland. Yeah, so we're ready.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. So what I do is usually sometimes I can mute you and then I'll mute you when I want you to speak. Sometimes because of the network, some noise that might be, Amazi, I'm happy to have you here on this show. I know, one thing that attracted me to you was one of the videos you made, and you were talking about when men fail, women will rise up. I cannot forget it. So I really let's start with that. You say when men fail, women will rise. Why did you say that at this point in this movement, please?
Well, it is in line with not just only what Mazi said, but it happened in the Bible some time ago. I think in the book of Judges, chapter 5, when Deborah, prophetess in Israel, fought against Jabin. And is it Sisera or something, was a king, and she killed him, which men couldn't do. And she made a prophetic utterance in the book of Judges, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 5. So it's not just Mazi saying it, but what he said was true. It was a prophetic declaration, and I saw it and I saw sense in it. So when men fail, definitely women should not just sit down and watch things deteriorate. That's number one. And number two, in a family where men misbehave, women could rise up to defend the family's name, maybe by their work dint of hard work, or maybe their education, or their defense of the family name based on their activities. So men can fail. You hearing me? Deborah sang a song in Judges chapter 5 when she killed somebody that was a problem to Israel. So when I looked at the way our men were doing, and in respect to what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, first of all, I want it to be clear. I don't hate anybody. I don't want anybody to be brought down. But let's look at things objectively. It has nothing to do with what I think or how I feel. It's the issue on the table. Do we want our freedom? Do we want our country? Do we want to move on? They'll have to set personal things aside and focus on the thing that collectively benefit us as a people. And that's how always been the mindset of Nnamdi Kanu. So when he said that the moment women take over, the things will change, I saw that failure, and then women started coming up in keeping with that prophecy. And he did not just say it based on the fact that he was just talking. I'm sure he was speaking based on either what he foresaw or what he was told, and he was uttering it prophetically, and it was coming to pass. So I had to support them. You can come in families where men are misbehaving, and one girl comes up, or the women come up, they begin to work very hard, do this and that. They are the ones that come back to take care of the parents, rehabilitate the family, rejuvenate everybody. So always give women a chance. In America here, women are doing lots of great things. So it shouldn't be different with us Africans or Biafrans.
Oh, thank you very much, Mazi. So I want to ask you now a direct question to you now. So do you feel at this moment that the men are no longer doing what is expected of them? Do you think that the men have failed us in this movement right from when it happens? So sorry, let me give you instances. Right from the period of Irwanya, them, Ucheme for them, Rav Wasurike, them, all of them that emerged and all of that up to this point. Even different people, which we know, most they were mainly men that somehow something happened, they were called saboteurs or they betrayed the struggle. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So do you think that men have actually failed in this movement? And do you think that there are still men that can still stand up even while the women rise up? Do you think that the men have failed finally, or is there any hope? Please.
I like the second question. Do you think that there are men that can still rise up as the women are moving on? I like that question. That's a very good one. And I'm standing on that. Do you understand me? As for the first question, yes. Look, let me tell you. When Jesus was crucified on the cross,
Die Risikolebensversicherung von Verti. So gut fühlt sich Vertrauen an. So gut fühlt sich sicher an. Schon ab 3 Euro pro Monat. Und jetzt bis zu 75 Euro Amazon-Gutscheine sichern. Verti. Genau deine Versicherung.
in fact, before he was crucified, before they arrested him, all his disciples left him and fled. They were all men. It was the same men, one of them, that betrayed him. It's normal. And then when he was buried, we also understand that men buried him. But on the day of resurrection, It was a woman that stood and was there until she had one-on-one conversation with the master, which the men couldn't wait patiently. They left. So she played a very vital role. It's on record. You can't take that away from women. Now, as per our men in Biafra, not all of them have messed up. We're talking about those in authority in DOS whom we looked up to. Because Nnamdi Kanu, look, I don't like when people make some comments. I hear that, why did he appoint them since he knows that there were no materials? That was what he had available to work with. You weren't there then, I wasn't there. And they held forth. In the process, there were problems. This one will betray, this one will fall, stuff like this. Now, as time progressed, people started coming in because they were failing, given the circumstance in which we found ourselves. So, it is not all the men in Biafra. Because if you say that you are part of those that have failed, you shouldn't be holding this program. You should be crucified. But you're not part of them that failed. You just came in along the line. And the thing is burning in your heart. You want to see the right things done. So, those that are in the authority of Biafra, even among themselves, that were leaders of the US, that seem to be having misunderstanding among themselves. For example, let me look at Charles Rabbi, the prophet, right? He speaks against them, but he is part of the DOS. So he understands that there's a gap in leadership. But that doesn't mean that all the men in Biafra have missed it or men cannot rise up again. Because right now, you are doing something that is talking about men playing their own roles. And there are other men who are doing things underground, which we don't know. Good. So while women are on it working, we should also be available, because if we just allow everything in the hands of women, it might go a wrong direction. That's the simple truth. I love Umuada Biafra women, but you know, God has ordained it that women should be under men, not as lords, but you know, it is just an ordination to show that a man takes the first part as respect, but he still accommodates the woman who might give him a better idea that will help both of them move forward. I understand that. But if you don't hold things very well, they might go out of line, because women sometimes could be emotional. They might go out of line. And if they go out of line, or even if they don't go and succeed, it might create a wrong impression in the future that men no longer have balls, they no longer have brains, they're no longer reliable. So subsequent generations will not even recognize what men are saying after women started it. And the women that may come later may not be as discreet as the women are done now. It might be girls that will come later and they want to superimpose feminine dominion over men and spoil everything about our tradition, way of life. You understand what I'm saying? So our men are there. Still have good men.
Wow, thank you very much, Mazi. I always like to listen to your ideology. That's why I'm speaking to you as a pastor, because I know your your ideas is going to be mixed with some kind of principle, you know, which is very good, and that is why I want to listen to you. So I want us to talk about the situation that we are currently in IPOB. I don't know what you think about the kidnap of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, with the fact that the DOS, they were not aware of, according to them, that they were not aware after 8 days of the kidnap of our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And up till now, it's been 6 months. Nothing has been done, per se, like that we can see, even as we know that the lawyers are doing what is they can, but these lawyers were not employed by the DOS. These are lawyers that have always been there fighting for our freedom, for our leader, and for people that have always been kidnapped and arrested, molested by the wicked government of Nigeria. So let's just start from there. I'm starting it so that I can give enough time to make a very good, you know, speech and expression to make everybody understand. What do you have to say about this development, that our leader was kidnapped in the capable hands of people surrounding him and working for him, and up to today, it's been 6 months. The leadership is like they have lost control. We have not heard from them, and nothing has been done, bringing more confusion in our midst. Please. Go ahead.
You know, this issue has been discussed over and over again, and almost everybody, even those who are not Biafrans, are aware that Nnamdi Kanu's abduction or kidnap or rendition did not follow the due process of extradition or diplomatic protocols. You know, everybody knows that. So, but the main question now is in respect to the DOS as per his disappearance. Now, my worry now is I wouldn't like to say anything that whip up more sentiments against the DOS. Yeah, because it's already established. Look, bro, it's already established in the whole world to understand that there were flaws and there were actions that lent credence to accusations of conspiracy and sellout, which have not been refuted by them in any way. You know what I mean? So it's actually the truth is they didn't do well in handling this matter. And much as I don't advocate for their crucifixion, I also insist that if you made a mistake, acknowledge it and be sorry. Apologize to your people. Turn from it and let's move forward as a family. For nobody is perfect. Even men that were appointed by God directly misbehaved along the line. A person like Solomon, God appeared to him twice. You know, at the end of the day, for all the 2 times appearance that God did towards Solomon and gave him wisdom and knowledge and riches, he ended up worshiping idols. And at the end of his life, he died an unbeliever. Biblically speaking, it's here in the scriptures. So there's no guarantee that because God, the only man whom God appointed, came to this world and lived that life that was sinless and perfect, was Jesus Christ. Every other man is subject to flaws. The Bible says Elijah was a man of like passions, just like we are. And you know that Elijah at the time interceded against Israel. And that prompted God to tell him, okay, your ministry is about coming to an end because you don't intercede against my people. That's what he was saying. See, I've left 7,000 that have not bowed the knee to Baal. And he told him, go and anoint Elisha, the son of Shaphat, to be prophet in your stead. Anoint Hazael to be the king of Syria. And Hazael anoint Jehu, the son of Nimshi, to be the king of Israel. So if anybody escapes Elisha, Jehu will kill that person. If anybody escapes Jehu, Hazael will kill that person. So Elijah was taken away. You understand what I'm saying? So they made mistakes, terrible mistakes. And, you know, it's human nature, especially men, not to acknowledge. If you see a man that's able to acknowledge his mistake, that one thing God loves about certain men in the Bible, or all the men in the Bible, was if somebody acknowledges his mistakes and confesses to God, he repents, God forgives him. Like Ahab, he was a very wicked king, and God had planned to destroy Israel and him. But as soon as that prophecy was given, Ahab went back home, walking quietly, humbled himself before God. That same God told Elijah, have you seen the way Ahab has humbled himself before me? Therefore, this thing shall not come in his generation, in his reign, sorry. So if only they can acknowledge where they made mistake, they have really made mistake. In fact, that brings me to Dr. Nelly. She was the one that started talking. And before she started talking, there are evidences based on the information I got from her that she sent letters to Edoziem and Co. Look at what is going on. What do we do to fix it? And they weren't listening. Do you understand me? That's one. Then number two, in respect to Mazi's rendition, that's why I don't want to raise up anything now. I don't want to bring comments that will raise up sentiment. We all know that they missed it there 100%, because if we begin to ask certain questions now, it will end up trying to ridicule their person, their ability, and their capacity. So I just want to give a blanket coverage that we all make mistakes. they have made mistakes. If they can repent from their mistakes, ask the Biafran forgiveness, and then move on. But as per what brought about agitations to this level, Dr. Nelly made it plain. And if they had listened to her, maybe the way the thing had deteriorated, it would have been effectively managed. And number two, we use this now to learn in case of Biafra tomorrow. A very good ministry of publicity, that is communication, an effective public relations department. It's very, very important for a movement like this, because when something happens and people are not properly educated or sensitized, they might have wrong opinions. And when you are coming down to talk and start abusing people, you spoil the whole thing. So that was where they had a problem. They didn't have a very good, effective public relations outfit to effectively handle this problem when it started. I made mention of that from the beginning. Thank you. Hello? Hello?
Hello, yes, I can hear you. Thank you very much for that explanation. But I know that you're a pastor. You will not want to bring more sentiment. But
the truth is that they missed it. They did a lot of wrong.
Yeah. So you said that is a mistake, and that is where the next question goes. That the DOS made a mistake. Are you still saying that is a mistake for the past 6 months? If it was a mistake, they have not come out to correct it. And for the past 6 months, there is a lot of problem, which I don't know, you witness it, that even many people are still confused. So as an engineer, I don't think this is a mistake. From all indication, there's every indication that it's intentional, and they are not able to come and do anything up till now, 6 months, up till now. I say something, please.
Now, look at why I've said initially that is a mistake. Nnamdi Kanu appointed them, and he must have looked into each and every one of them and given them that thing. So, so far, they are still handling that office. Nobody has the right to remove them from the US, but loyalty could be shifted from them to somewhere else. So I don't want a situation where somebody comes up. That's why I said even the people that God appointed could make mistake. I don't want somebody to come and start ridiculing Nnamdi Kanu's sense of judgment for appointing certain people in certain places. That's why I said in the beginning, at the onset, it was a mistake. I don't want to go into all those conspiracy theories because it is a fact. Listen, I have made broadcast on Facebook when Dr. Nelly had made comments that implicated Caroline. Is it Anya or what they call Nene Anya, Caroline Okora for Kanu Takano? She made comments that implicated them. As a matter of fact, what's his name? Yahweh. What's that prophet? The one that is married to Nnamdi Kanu's sister.
Master Prophet.
Yeah, he called me on phone some time ago after I made a broadcast. And he said, how am I sure that what Nelly said in respect to his family members feeding from the Biafran fund, and not only that, not that the money should rather be limited to Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, his wife and his children. Now, how am I sure that the money that they themselves partook of the money? I said, when Nelly Ofebo made this allegation, none of you came out to denounce it and say, no, it's wrong or right. When she made an allegation against Kanunta Kanu, none of you came out to say Kanunta didn't do it or did it. And if he did it, none of you came out to tell him that what you did was wrong, like the Anambra people spoke against Joe Ibokwe in Lagos. The Joe Ibokwe that lives in Lagos. None of you came out to refute any allegation. You just kept quiet. So that lent credence to whatever Dr. Nelly was saying. And Nelly was also coming out with facts. Then as time was progressing, the character being shown by those in the DOS, the HOD and others, was beginning to prove that Dr. Nelly was right after all. And then certain people who heated to were trying to defend US began to have their eyes open that they are part of the conspiracy. Are you following me? It was very, very clear. There's no doubt about it. But like I told you, I'm not saying that it's a mistake, like somebody did something unknowingly that if you had known would have corrected it. If I make a deliberate statement of conspiracy to sell Nnamdi Kanu, I don't want to fuel any kind of hatred among us Biafrans or sentiments against them, you know. So what I'm saying is, because as a man of God, I'm for peace. They made a mistake. When Nnamdi Kanu comes out, by the grace of God, Biafra comes. We shall go back into this thing and find out what role did A and B or C play, and then it shall be brought out in the open. For Jesus said, do not remove the weed while with the plant by the side, because in the process you might remove both the plant and the weed. Let them mature. In the time of harvest, you harvest the plant, and then the chaff and the weed shall be thrown into fire. You understand what I'm saying? So what you have in your mind as what you believe, I agree with you. I don't doubt it. I don't stand against it. And it's clear that there is an area where I want us to come to, because it's already established that, in fact, the recent happenings now in Nigeria lends credence to the fact that certain categories of people, they are no longer reliable. You should be very, very careful. And that you started the Biafran project does not mean others who come in later shouldn't talk or bring a better idea or contribution like you are doing. It doesn't stop it.
Thank you very much, Mazi. You know, our leader always said that our job is to always follow the truth. Our job is to follow the truth. It doesn't matter where you lead us to, and it doesn't matter the people that are involved. You know, one thing I'm worried is that when we don't expose and say the truth, it will delay a lot of things, because he said the truth must set you free.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I said that is, what if every exposition by Dr. Nelly is right, that the people in leadership are part of the people that conspired and sold our leader out? So what do you think will remedy this struggle right now, if it's not because of the Umuada? Please go ahead.
In the first place, every exposition Dr. Nelly gave in respect to DOS, I believe them personally. Because I'm not looking at Nelly as a woman or as a friend. Neither am I looking at them as enemies. No, I'm looking at the facts on ground, the issues on the table. She has been able to raise up issues. And to counter what she's saying, you should come out with a better argument and tell Nelly it is not true. So they look at what happened, look at what I did. I was not part of this. And then you can correct Nelly. But so far, in fact, apart from what she did, like kind of exposing things, the attitude, the character, the behavior of what has followed, almost everything that Nnamdi Kanu set in place that were instructed to follow have been set aside. What else do you want to hear? The truth is clear, plain on the table. Now we are talking about the way forward. Yes, the Umuada have come with an idea. I like it. I would like men to support them. Look, as of yesterday, Biafrans, or is it today, were protesting in Israel. Did you see that? Good. They were. And the mayor, the vice mayor of Jerusalem, came out and addressed the crowd and gave them an encouragement. We're going to do something about it. And then they also addressed a member or a legislator. Is that right? A lawmaker. Good. So there are people who are still carrying this thing up. Umuada is just standing now as a front, as a kind of immediate arrangement to hold the whole family one as a team, as a unit, because DOS is not doing it. Instead, they are cursing and abusing and strategizing to destroy, threatening to kill. Certain people are becoming afraid, backing out, because these guys can do evil at whatever if they want to. So people are just backing out. But Umuada, they're so bold enough to stand and talk. So what we do now is to give them a hand. But I'm having a problem somewhere. There is a man called Eremulo that Umuada called, an African American, and began to give the history of the Biafran people. He studied Hebrew and has a master's degree in Hebrew language. And when he began talking, he was talking like an authority that could set the Bible aside and bring in his own teaching, which I am getting worried because the other people seem to be swallowing it hook, line, and sinker. This man says, he talks about the man that God created in the Garden of Eden, or also mention somebody that died and resurrected after 3 days. That is a Biafran man, a black man from Biafra land. I heard that live on Facebook. Now that tries to discredit the biblical account of how creation started until the fall of man and the redemption of man. And every prophecy given in the Bible in respect to the Jewish nation and other nations of the earth came to pass fulfilled. Then somewhere along the line in the 21st century, a man that is about 70 to 72 years old, born just 72 years ago, he should be about 10 years or 11 years older than myself, 10 years, just came out and brought another narrative about creation, about people, about a nation. And everybody's, the human people are trying to swallow it hook, line, and sinker. It's worrisome. Because the very God, if you listen to Nnamdi Kanu, when he started praying, he made mention that God has a son called Yeshua HaMashiach. And he taught us to pray, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. This is written in the Bible that comprises the Torah and the New Testament. And somebody is just coming from somewhere, bringing another teaching, setting aside what is true we have known over the years that has succeeded Adam, Seth, Methuselah, Noah, Abraham, up till today. You and I are here, and tomorrow other generations will come. The man came just to set it aside because he has a master's degree in Hebrew studies. No, man, I won't buy that. So that's why men should be there with Umuada so that they don't go out of line.
Yeah, Mazi, we'll talk about that. I know I have a specific question for you. That's place.
Okay.
Maybe I can go in straight away with that question since you have opened that chapter. For me, I know that religion has always been the biggest problem that we have. Religion, because it has been misused or abused or bastardized. Okay. One of the most important questions that people are asking: was Jesus of the Bible a white man or a black man?
That's a good question.
And if we understand, if the Jesus that they talk about in the Bible was a white man or a black man, then is the Bible about the stories and the characters mentioned in the Bible, are they of white people or it was really about the black people?
Good question.
Please answer. Thank you.
Yeah. Jesus is from the Middle East. Look, the first world got destroyed because of sin and iniquity. So the successors of the first world was Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives. It was from there the whole world was populated. Are you following me? Huh?
And that was the Middle East. This happened in the Middle East.
Yes, listen to me. You asked me a question. Yeah. Now, when Noah gave birth to those 3 sons, their names were called Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem is the father of the people from the Middle East. The Arabs have the same lineage with the Jews. The Jews are from Isaac and Jacob. The Arabs are from Ishmael. But the same father, Abraham. Ishmael's mother is Hagar from Egypt. Are you following me? Oh, I'm not. Because God was trying to form a new nation. That was why the old world died. Now, the Hamites, Ham, the second son of Noah, Ham, is the father of the present day Jerusalem, which was Canaan land in those days. Canaan was the younger son of Ham, whom Noah cursed when Ham saw his nakedness after he was drunk and went and told the brother. Noah did not curse Ham because God blessed Shem, Ham, and Japheth in the presence of Noah, with Noah himself as the new people to form the new world. So he looked at Ham. You cannot curse the man that God has blessed.
Sorry, Pastor, to take you short. Sorry, Pastor. Sometimes we know this story, but what I want to ask are these people you mentioned, were they black people?
That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Okay. I have the book of Songs of Solomon here. The Jewish ancestry also has a combination of black people in their midst, either by marriage or whatever. But I'm trying to define something. We had, because God has the capacity to produce any color of people he wants to, because he's God. The Bible says, him that cometh to God must believe that he is. That means he's God. He's capable of everything he wants to do. So Shem is the father of the Jewish people, the Middle East. Ham is father of the people that they call the black people. That is us. But that black there does not necessarily mean they were entirely dark like this. It was based on their zone, their geographical zone. Now, from Canaan down to Ethiopia, Libya, and Sudan, which is Lydia, these were all areas that were down south of the Eden, because Eden, one thing used in identifying the Garden of Eden was River Euphrates, which is still located within that place. Now, after that, the next one was Japheth, that is the father of the Caucasian race, which we call whites. The Caucasians are neither Jews nor blacks, but we call them whites. That's how it came. Now, Jesus of Nazareth is not a Caucasian white like the impression is being given. It's not. Jesus came from the tribe of Judah. Now, in the bringing forth of Jesus into manifestation through the process of birth and generation, black people were part of the chemistry that made up the Jesus manifestation. Because Solomon, who was the son of David, had his wife married by a black man who was a member of his army, Bathsheba. Are you following me? So Solomon's mother was not a Jewish woman. And then, if you also go, listen, if you also go to the formation of the Jewish race from the time of Jacob, Jacob had two wives from one father, Leah and Rachel. Leah gave birth to 6 children: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and I think Zebulun. Rachel gave birth to only 2 children, Benjamin and Joseph. Now, the other 4 children were given birth by women who were servants or slaves to these 2 young ladies in their father's houses. One of them is called Leah, that became, Zilpah was the servant of Leah that gave birth to 2 children for Jacob. And then the other one is called Bilhah, that gave birth to 2 children for Jacob on account of Rachel. And then it was there that this guy was born, Gad. And so if you look at the formation of the Jewish makeup, it's not just entirely from the children of Jacob. Laban's 2 daughters. No, it was not entirely from 2 daughters of Laban that Jacob married. It was also from the 2 slave girls or maids or servants of Laban that lived with him in his house, and he gave them to his daughters to take care of them as their maidens. But this woman had to give their maidens to their husband to sleep with, and he gave birth to children. So the formation of the Jewish tribe is something that involved 4 women, 2 directly from Jacob's family lineage, Leah and Rachel. The other 2 were servants, and they gave birth to 4 sons that make up the 12 tribes of Israel. So the coming up of Israel is a combination, and that's God's program and plan of bringing many people from different colors, getting married, to come into one person, the person of Christ. So Jesus Christ is not a man. That's number 1. Number 2, the picture you see is not the picture of Jesus Christ. Yes, I agree. Those are the things that the white men did to give a wrong impression about the black people, that we are bad people, we are dirty, we are ugly, we are devilish. Of course, if you come here, you know that the atrocities, moral degeneration, they said everything works in America except marriage. You can see yourself, things are not working out fine as far as marriage is concerned, because that is the basic unit of life, marriage and salvation. So Jesus is a Jewish man. The people who are whites, in quote, because when you talk about white, you look at this Bible, this thing is white. There's no human being that has this white color on earth. And if you look at black, there's no human being that have this kind of, there's no human being that have this kind of color on earth. You are not like this. This is not your color. And the white man, this is not his color. So that name white man was given just for general identification that, well, within the skin pigmentation, we call this one white and this one black. Yet, the same whites don't consider Hispanics as whites. They don't consider Egyptians that have that same color as whites. They don't consider Indians as whites. They don't. The whites know themselves. The Caucasians, the Europeans, they know what they are doing. So that's just a simple truth there. Now, in terms of religion, no. If we are fighting for Biafra, leave religion apart. Nnamdi Kanu prays to the God of heaven. He did not tell you to come and practice Judaism. He never said so. Did he tell you? Nnamdi Kanu never told you to come and practice Judaism, but he prays to the God of heaven. Every human being must have a contact with the God of heaven. That's true. So religion should be set aside. When Nnamdi Kanu is praying to God and asking God for help. Nnamdi Kanu is not condemning Jesus Christ or God or anything that has to do with worship. No. Religion is different from serving God. Religion is a means that man has brought out by which he could look for God. That's religion. But the serving God is God who has come down to look for man to teach him his ways in the person of his son, Yeshua HaMashiach. These are two different things. So if I'm discussing with you and we're talking about Biafra, just leave religion apart. And Christianity is not the white man's religion. The very first persons that started preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ were Jews themselves. They are not whites. Even in America here, Jewish people are not seen as white people, but they have done a lot for Americans. They know them as people from the Middle East. These Jews still have their culture, their behavior, their language, which is different from, end quote, the white man, whose culture we don't know how it's emanating. Because if you go to Europe, they're different. They say Europe is one, but they're different cultures, different way of doing their things. And in certain area, they have a uniformity, especially within the social sector where moral degeneracy is concerned. They have their uniformity. So the Jewish man is not seen as a white man. If you call him, he says from Israel. He's not seen as a European. He's not seen as a white man. The same thing with even Chinese that come to America here. It is only the Europeans that can have access to this country easily than a Chinese man who will be given certain conditions. And if you see the manner of behavior of the Chinese, you understand that they don't behave like white people. They still have this kind of authoritative, sentimental approach to things, superimposing themselves over nations and situations. Intolerance. So we cannot say that the Christian religion is the white man's religion. No, it's not. The people that preach the gospel at the early stage were the Jews. And then persecution made Paul and the others to go to places like Cappadocia, Illyricum, Cilicia. They went to Phrygia, they went to Pamphylia. All these are Asian nations who are the descendants of Japheth, the third son of Noah, the Japhethites. Where you get Alemania, that is Germany, you have the Franks, you have the Visigoths, you have the people from Britain, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. So just leave religion apart. Don't go. I know that a lot of Europeans took religion in the front and behind they had a gun to hold us to ransom. They misrepresented and misapplied the spirit of the scripture. And therefore, people are now seeing it in a blanket judgment that both the scripture and Jesus Christ and God who gave to us, they are all fake because this white man came here and did evil. No. That I, in Sima, EMEKA Livingstone, decides to misbehave, God forbid, does not stop Jesus from being the Lord of the whole earth. It doesn't. It doesn't stop the Bible from being true. It is me that is fake. It is me that misbehaved. It is me that is not reliable. It is me that you told me to look after your wife. By the time you came back and she was pregnant. It's me. It's not the Bible. It's not what is written here. So I misrepresented what is written here.
Thank you very much, Mazi. I know I give you more time because I can see you are passionate about this conversation, which is good. I believe we will have special time to talk about this very, very well. You know, one thing I want to say is that I want to, because we're talking about our freedom, Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, DOS. We just brought that in because of what you said about people that came to know that platform. I wanted to ask you a very like direct question to you.
Okay.
Why did you start talking about Biafra, and why do you start believing in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Was there any time that you have any doubt about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and what is your own vision about Biafra, please?
Well, Nnamdi Kanu is very good in analyzing things, and I heard him do those analyses. I listened to him. And I wanted to find out where is this young man coming from. And I understood that he had a lot of information to give, which were correct. Apart from that, I was 7 years old when the war started. And the day Ojukwu addressed the world on BBC, for 70 minutes, Ojukwu was speaking. He held the world spellbound, addressing the Biafran issue. I was just 7 years old or 8 years old. And the passion for Biafra started from that very day when I was a little boy. And when I was growing up, I began to see that after the war, within 3 years, economic activity in the Eastern Zone had picked up so much that we had Mike Merchandise, that was an electronics dealer. John Anyahe imported a Toyota Crown and others. And we were so happy that our people could pick up. Then suddenly there was this Ekoha market that got burnt and all the problems they're facing. Then as I was growing, I realized that there were certain limitations placed on the Igbo people, that they cannot go beyond a particular level in the army or in appointment or stuff like that. So when 1979 came, to tell you the truth, then I was 19 years. I voted based on sentiments. I voted Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Not because he satisfied my criteria to get my vote. After all, the man who formed NPP then was Wazir Ibrahim. Nnamdi Azikiwe just came out from the blues and with his intellectual capacity, hijacked the whole thing and took NPP. So Wazir Ibrahim now had to form GNPP, Great Nigeria People's Party. That was when this man was the first national chairman of NPP, Chief Olu Akin Fosile, before Adeniran Ogunsanyan took over. So the desire to see Biafra actualized had been in my heart, that someday they can listen to us and allow us go and build our own country. So when Wazirike came with his own, I was watching Wazirike. I didn't see anything that would convince me. Like, for example, Wazirike cannot come out and give a lecture on Biafra to educate people to know what they're supposed to know. I never had that. So I was not satisfied. Now, after that time of voting, 1979, I never voted again in Nigeria till today. Why? Because I've never believed in leadership in Nigeria. Not even the Igbos, Yorubas, or the others. I've never believed in any of them. So I've never voted for anybody. The only person I voted for was Zeke and Dr. Sam Bakwe. Those were the two persons I voted for. Okay. Now, since Wazirike failed, and as time progressed, we saw it, Nnamdi Kanu came up with a very, very analytical mind and presentation. It was so appealing that I had to start looking into his teachings. And I'll deliberately go on Facebook, follow his teachings, and listen to them. And as I was listening, he was giving me information more than the one that I knew. Are you following me? Now, I love my people. And I realized what I had known before, But by the way he expanded it, I came to understand that Biafra includes not just Akwa Ibom and Cross River. These have been Biafrans. I'm talking of people in the Benue Middle Belt region, somewhere along there. I realized that Biafrans included. I know that Biafrans included the people in Delta State. I know that Biafrans included people in the River State, although not all, because it was a loophole by which the 3rd Marine Commandos could come into our area here to overrun the Biafran troops. And it's not just because of the prowess or the invisibility of the Nigerian army, it was basically due to hunger and malnutrition that made people give up that war. So as I saw this young man talking, I liked it. And then number 2, Nnamdi Kanu was always preaching that we can get Biafra by speaking the truth. He was not advocating bloodshed. He never said, take up gun and go and shoot Nigerian soldiers. He never did. The setting up of ESN was just to safeguard our periphery against rampaging marauders, the Fulani headsmen, which I also bought the idea. It was a very good one, because you can't be raping girls and women and killing men who go to farm to work. It's not fair. So it was not against the federal government that he commanded that ESN. No, it was against Fulani headsmen, and it was very effective. So I had to start following Nnamdi Kanu, and his teachings and behavior and example built up my desire for the Biafran cause, not as an IPOB member, but as a Biafran.
Do you think that anybody that's supposed to talk about Biafra must be an IPOB member, registered member, or oath taker?
No. Is it a cult? It's not a cult. It's a free will decision. If you want to be an oath member, and yet, in any ways, being an oath member does not even guarantee loyalty, because most of those that sold him out are oath members of IPOB. Most of those that sold him out today, the situation Nnamdi Kanu is today, based on what we are seeing, those involved, either by action or inaction, a deliberate conspiracy or compromise, are sworn members, and even of the hierarchy. So being a sworn member doesn't really. I was asked in Maryland here to be an oath member. I said I was not going to be an oath member. I'm a Biafran by birth and in my spirit. That if you want me to be an IPOB member, I will be. But if you ask me to swear to an oath, I am born again. The Bible I read says, do not swear by heaven is the Lord's throne, or earth is his footstool. Don't swear by any other God or by God's name. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. So as I stand here, I stand for the truth. So if people say you must be an oath member for you to be an IPOB member, it's wrong. And then IPOB should be defined from 2 dimensions. As the name implies, Independent People of Biafra. It means a blanket covering of every Biafran. That is what it means.
Indigenous. Yes.
Yes. That's indigenous people of Biafra is a blanket qualification of every Biafran within the Biafran region, wherever you are located, whether in Benue State or in Godomigodo or in parts of River State. For those who want to believe, you don't need to go and take an oath. You didn't take an oath to be a Nigerian when you were coerced into it. Neither did you take an oath to be in Sobong from wherever you come from. So you don't have to take an oath. I don't believe that. But for those who want to take oath, it should be voluntary. You don't coerce people, because if you give the impression that it is only those that have taken oath that have the right to speak and know the structure, you make it a cult. And then use the instrument of oppression and intimidation. If you don't buy our idea, you're an enemy. So when we come into manifestation, we single you out and eliminate you. No, that's not the Biafra we want. Nnamdi Kanu said Biafra we want is a Biafra where there will be freedom of speech, there will be democracy, there will be liberty. You can serve your God in the way you want. That's what I buy. That's where I stand. Excuse me.
So because the reason why I asked this question is we have seen several occasions where either some people were suspended or people were expelled. For example, I was suspended because I started asking questions about what happened to our leader and why are they keeping quiet. I was suspended. Up to today, I don't know the reason why the national coordinator in the UK, Mrs. Messi, started suspended me, because she has not given me any reason. And she didn't send the message to me. I saw it being published everywhere, and I was humiliated, called all kinds of names. And it got to a point that they started saying we should stop using IPOB name, or we should stop talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, or we should stop playing our leader's voice on our platforms anymore, because we have been expelled and suspended. Do you think that is the right step?
First of all, in a very lighter mood, it is good they suspended you, because it has even made you more popular. You see that people listening to you now better. But let me tell you, do you know why you were suspended? Your questions were becoming uncomfortable. They had no answer to your questions. And that means they were not true disciples of Nnamdi Kanu. Either they used him as a cover-up for their nefarious activities on the ground to enrich for personal aggrandizement, enrichment, or advancement, or that they were just not the round peg in the round hole in the offices that they were given. So their functionality was being seen as ineffective, dry, bland. So when you come up with your questions, it was too much for their mind to pick. And since they can't answer it, you are trying to put shame to their incompetence. The best thing is to remove you. That is usually the way dictators do. Let me tell you something. I'm sure you've been following Nnamdi Kanu's teachings constantly. Do you know that you can come out on TV and ask Nnamdi Kanu a question and abuse him while asking him questions? It won't stop you. When you finish asking your questions and you finish talking, he will start explaining all you said and begin to lecture you on things you don't know and educate you to come to knowledge and sensitize you into being reasonable and sanitizes your mind into repenting of your foolishness. And then at the end of the day, you turn out to be his good disciple. That's how we know leaders. The guys got it. They don't have it. They are just a brand of... I told them when I was preaching on Facebook, I told them, most of you are just enjoying Nnamdi Kanu's message. You don't understand the spirit that governs this young man. If you do, you will replicate his character in your lifestyle. I don't see it. When they say whiter than white and whiter than snow, which people? Is it the ones that betrayed him? Or the ones that just sacked you out without explanation? Is that the whiter than white? They asked Jesus questions. So many questions were asked Jesus when he sat down. He answered every of them. When Paul went to Mass Hill, they asked him questions, he answered. A man who has something to offer would like you to bring your question. Bring it on. Say it out on TV. Let the whole world say it. Say it to the whole world. Let them hear. Then he will now sit down. It's an opportunity for him to transmute his information to the whole world that is well loaded, fully loaded in what he's talking about. But somebody who has nothing to offer takes offense when he asks a question. The next thing is to curse you or sack you. Then finally, they said they don't have any right to remove or suspend any person from the US or IPOB. How come they went behind to remove people, which they said they didn't have the power to? Because so and so were accused of so and so misdeeds. And it was evidently presented to them that these monies are being eaten by these people at the expense of the lives of Biafrans. And they did, and not that they did not acknowledge. First of all, China Samoro from Rabbi Charles, I heard that one, outrightly condemned Kanu, his first publication. When he heard that, he was so angry. I wanted to know whom this man is because I didn't know him then. He was so vehement and offended. I saw hunger in defense of Mazi Kanu and the Biafran cause in that man's speech. So I wanted to know him. In fact, I was even thinking of sending him friendship request. I don't know what stopped me. I stopped. Then later on, things started changing again. The same mouth that spoke against that thing is now saying something else. Now, when Edosian was being interviewed by Umuada, he didn't know it was recorded live. Through Madam Bridget, he spoke through her on phone. And he acknowledged that all that Nelly was saying is true. And that she questioned this woman, why have you refused to transmit this money into this account as Onyendu said? Now, as the second person in command, since his boss is not around, he was supposed to take immediate action so as to put the record straight that we are still operating in the same spirit. He said, no, he will look into it. He doesn't have any right to suspend person. Then it was ironical to turn around, for me to see, I turned around and saw that he suspended, is it Madame Ibo, Madame Erewa, Rabbi Charles. I even heard that anything was suspended. Nelly Ofebu was suspended. I'm also hearing that you two were suspended. Charles Ajere was suspended. So any of you that come up to speak and find out the truth so that we can move forward are considered rebels. Therefore, they should be killed. That's why you were suspended. They didn't have answers to your questions. And your questions was making them very, very uncomfortable. But thank God you were suspended. For when one door closes, 7 doors open. There you are. There you are running. Because if you are still with them, you wouldn't be running this channel. You'll be subject to Radio Biafra and DOS command and control structure.
Thank you very much, Pastor Emeka. Wow, that's why we have you here, because your clarification is getting deeper and deeper. Because I want to ask you, you may mention that you were 7 years old after the war. And I believe you must have known a lot of things.
I was 7 years old when the war started.
Oh, when the war started. Wow.
I'm 61 years plus now. I'm getting to
wow. I believe I'm going to get to that your age very soon. Thank you very much.
Help you.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to ask about the name Biafra. How did it come about? Because even as we are here now, even part of the challenge that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have was to be able to educate people that we are all Biafrans. And even up to today, lots of people still argue that they are not Biafrans. And then lately, we started hearing another revelation by Dr. Nelly about Idu as a unifying factor that will bring all of us together. And I was like, I was able to add more to that. I said, if we can have a unifying factor like Idu, it means there will be no need for referendum for people to decide if they are Biafra or not. So please, I just want you to start from the war, what you know about the name Biafra, and the unifying factor that will bring us together for us to move forward, please.
Let me start from the end. Where does Idu begin and where does it end? We talk about unifying factor that identifies us as one. Where does Idu begin and where does it end? Which are the kingdoms where Idu started and where does it end? Can you please give me an idea? Good. Now, look at it this way. I go back to the beginning. That is why, look, I'm older than Nnamdi Kanu with 7 years. By the time he entered secondary school in Umuahia, Government College Umuahia, I think in Nile House, or I don't know the house he was in, it was 79 that I was leaving college. He was empty, so we never met. But we are Umuahians. We came from the same alma mater. Now, I follow him because it has nothing to do with age. The young man has a bundle of information that are true and real. And it takes time to make research and brings out his findings. So it is either you do the same research and prove him wrong, or do the same research and prove him right. If you look at the treaty that was signed with I think the Obong of Calabar, when the white men came, that area was referred to as Biafra. And prior to the war, the sea mass separating the southern coast of Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea is identified as the Bight of Biafra. Because Cameroon is attached to Central African Republic and Equatorial Guinea by landmass. And also there's a link by water. If you go through Limbe, I've lived in Cameroon too. It's 4 hours trip from there to Equatorial Guinea, Fernando Po. But that landmass between Nigeria and that water mass is called the Bight of Biafra. And when Nnamdi Kanu was talking, I want to take from his teaching because definitely he started all this. So I will always give him the credit for that. He said that when those people came, they could not really pronounce that name, Biafra. they pronounced it Biafra. That was their tongue for easy pronunciation.
Wir wollen doch alle ständig punkten. Im Job, bei den Schwiegereltern, sogar bei den Kids. Aber das Beste ist doch, dass ich dabei auch immer für mich punkte.
Bei jedem Bezahlen punkten. Die kostenlose Payback American Express Karte.
And when the young man began to give his narrative, which I know, about the migration of the Biafrans from the north, and when they settled sometime in Benue State, is it Kogi State, in Igala land? Are you following me? Either Igala or Idoma land. It was from there that they went further down south. Now, he has been able to establish the fact that Biafra has certain similarities among them to identify them as a people, both in culture, the food they eat, the dress they wear, their intonation, and the way they plait their hair, their tradition. And when he began to compare them, you see that the man from Akwa Ibom State is more of an Igbo man in relationship than a man from Osun State. Because person from Osun State has a different culture, different food, different language, different mode of dressing, different kind of music, different instrument of music, different tradition. They have their different things. But we share similarities with people from Cross River, Akwa Ibom, even Cameroon, in areas like Kumba, Southwest, Mbonge, Boya. We have similarity. The people from Manfe, the Bayangi, we have similarity in food and tradition. Because if you look at Manfe towards Cross River State, you have the Bekwara, Ejagam listeners. They filtered into Cameroon. They share the same language. I've been to all those areas. Are you following me? Are you following me? So the reason why the war was fought was because our people, even prior to the time that that man suggested, when Ojukwu asked, what shall we name the new republic? Prior to that time, that name Biafra had been in existence. But thank God, the man that said it was not an Igbo man per se. It was a man from Iguacha who said it shall be called Biafra, and with that argument, Ojukwu took it. Now, that's what we've been identified with. And for the sake of Biafra, we went to war. People died. Ojukwu went to exile. For the sake of Biafra, Uwazurike lost people. For the sake of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated. And many Biafrans are being killed today. If for any reason, listen, sir, that is where I disagree with my friend, Dr. Nelly. I don't contend the fact that she may have information as to Idu, but this is not the right time to apply it. Even the Jews know us as Biafrans. If you have ever read about Ekpa, the slave that was liberated in Britain and turned out to be a writer on Biafran issue, my friend, Professor Alezi, is a retired history professor at Imo State University. He wrote about the Biafrans. He wrote about the Igbos. You will see that Biafra is an enclave that comprises not only just the Igbos. It included people that were not Igbos directly. Are you following me? And then the old name for Akwa Ibom is Kwa Ibo. Q-U-A-I-B-O. Kwa Ibo. Just like you have Ika Ibo in the Delta place. So Biafra has been in existence. And for the sake of Biafra, we are suffering today. If Nelly has something, what she should do is this. Hold on. Because for the sake of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu is in detention. And we are fighting. She should hold on until Biafra comes. Nnamdi Kanu is released. Then we can now sit down like Nnamdi Kanu did. It took him 10 to 12 years to convince people from Igodo that they are Biafrans. It took him 12 years of constant teaching and being abused and accused to convince people from areas in Benue State that they are Biafra. He did. Nnamdi Kanu did. So if you are going to bring us to know or agree that there is an Idu, it will not be something that will be forced into our throat based on revelation you had. No, you have to come with facts. You have to come with historical facts, academic research, and give to us. And that will take time. It will take time because even if Biafra comes into state today, you are not going to force it down the throat of people that they are Idu people. No, you have to gradually raise up issues, teachings, here and there. There could be a conference, it could be a confab, it could be different types of discussion, holding it over the years until you collectively convince at least 75% of people within that region, even if it filters into Yoruba land. Then collectively they will agree and say, okay, we have been sensitized and educated to know our root. We are Idu people. Then they can declare the Idu Republic. But for now, what we know is Biafra. You cannot set Biafra aside. You cannot say that Biafra is, you are no longer a Biafran. Automatically, you place the whole fight and concept of the Biafran nation into public ridicule. Because your detractors look at you and say you are confused. You started with Biafra, you're coming to end up with Idu. What's wrong with you? Didn't you know this before? And the man whom you are following spoke about Biafra. He established Radio Biafra. He preaches Biafra. That's his name, Nnamdi Kanu. And for me, that's the person I understand that knows what he's talking about. Any other thing anybody knows, I am not condemning Nelly. No, what I'm saying is she should hold that Idu thing for now. Let us follow one, which we started with. Let's follow and reach there conclusively. We shall reach. It is not Idu that will bring about our freedom. It is God in heaven. And we're standing on where we stand. Today, the representation they are giving in Israel is Biafra, not Idu. Right now, as I'm talking to you, they were on Facebook. The assistant mayor of Jerusalem came out to meet them as Biafra, not Idu. So if you bring it, you're bringing confusion. And I don't subscribe to it. That is why I was even going to call you and ask you, what is your take on this Idu thing? I don't buy it. It's not correct.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm happy to get your comment on this. And also, are you aware of our leader asking question during the question and answer section? He was talking about the key that opened the key. The key that opened the key is Ikodomigodo. He was talking about, he said there's something about it and that we need to do more research on it as well.
Yes. And until the research is done, the only time which you can explain your research is when everything has died down, you explain to the people. Right now, there is tension everywhere with the name Biafra, and there is problem. So if you bring it now, you're just about causing confusion. Because our leader was talking of Biafra, I also talked about it too, and a research will be made about it. If you get any research, you don't bring out your research that might be misconstrued as an opportunity to sideline and outshine Mazi, who brought the Biafran concept. He didn't even bring it. He followed what he received from behind, expanded and enlarged it for us to understand. So if you're bringing Idu, this is not the right time. The right time for Idu is when Biafra must have been actualized, because as of the level which we are in now, it is only possible as a result of Biafra. Whether it is positive or negative, whether we are suffering or we are winning. Right now, the whole world have come into realization that there is a people called the Biafrans. The Cameroonians know the Biafrans. Kenyans, my friends here, they know the Biafrans. So, if you start talking about Idu, you have to start all over again. You have to start teaching like Nnamdi Kanu taught for the next 10 years. In the midst of this confusion, you start teaching entirely again about Idu. How many people are you going to convince? Because right now, everybody's eyes is on Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra. And we believe that we're going to get it. So the best thing is, this is not the right time to apply it. Hold it first. Let us get Biafra. Then come and give us education about Idu. Bring the different cultural people, regions, ethnic groups, and tribes, and teach them about Idu. Then gradually, people will bombard you with questions. Some people even abuse you, tell you so many things. You still hold your own, like Nnamdi Kanu held his own. Until after about maybe 5 years, 6 years, you've been able to sensitize the whole region. They say, oh, we are Idu. Thank God for you, Dr. Nelly, that you did this research. Now that this one, we are going to take the Idu with the people of Idu Republic. But for now, it's Biafra.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pastor EMEKA. Let me say you wanted to ask me that question, or what is my own stand about Idu. Yes. Anyways. But before I answer that question, I want to tell you what Dr. Nelly has been saying. That even Dr. Nelly was on this channel yesterday talking about Idu, and she said she rejected the name. She rejected the name Biafra, and she gave her own reason why she's rejecting the name Biafra. And she has never asked anybody to change any name, anything. She is talking, just like you talk about the Bible, your religion, because not every me, if I want to have conversation with you about the Bible, it will be different, trust me.
Yeah.
And everybody is talking about it. And this is what she has been preaching. This is what she believes. And she started opening this chapter and telling people about Idu, that we need to know who we are for us to have our freedom. And she never said, let us change anything right now. But she is telling us that this is what she believes, that will unify us together, and this is who we are, really.
My dear friend,
that is what she believes.
Please don't be angry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please don't be angry. Listen, Dr. Nelly is not an obscure person in this struggle. She is like a colossus, towering above all the DOS members. You and I know that. So her personal opinion should be kept within the confines of her personal knowledge. If she comes out for what she has fought so far for Biafra to succeed and brings up the Idu thing, that's her personal opinion, so many people get confused. Look, people have called me. Somebody called me and was crying that he has followed Nelly and she's talking the truth. Why is she saying this now? Are we going to go into confusion? The person was crying on the phone. Now, she is a very, very strong personality. So you should be careful how you present your comment. If an obscure person says something, it can be ignored. But that same thing that obscure person said, if a popular figure says it, it will go around. I am not against her in respect to her personal belief about Idu, but for her to come out and say, I reject Biafra. Oh my God, this was the Biafra you fought for, and people stood with you. When you say you reject it, basically, people are going to, a lot of people may just follow you, say, yes, they reject it because Nelly has said it, and that's putting confusion in their minds. We are not saying that Nelly is telling lies or the truth, but she just has to wait, because God does not bring confusion. God is not an author of confusion. Where Biafrans are missing it, I know, it is not in the name Biafra. It is their deliberate decision to turn away from God and go back to their native worship of their ancestral distinct gods. It's a big mistake we are making right now. It's a very big mistake. We might look at God as forget about him, we know what we are doing. No nation has existed in isolation. In times of terrible situation, there might be somebody down there crying to God, help us out of this situation. For the book of Zechariah 1 verse 5 says, your fathers, where are they? The prophets that I sent to talk to your fathers, are they still alive? Have they not all died, both the prophets and your fathers, and my word has succeeded them? So there's a place where Biafrans are missing it. There is a deliberate act of rebellion in the life of some Biafrans because of the wickedness pastors have exhibited, not only the white man in his religion, even pastors who are supposed to stand and tell the truth to the people have misbehaved terribly. Then some people are out of anger, totaling God as a mistake, as a fake, as Jesus, as nonsense. They're going back to their tradition. It's a problem.
Pastor, thank you very much. You mentioned about that. I don't want us to deviate into that yet. We will still talk about that. I don't know how much of the time you have, But there's a question I want to ask you. Before I ask you this question, I want to know, I understand you said that because of the timing, you don't say what Nelly said either is wrong or not, but because of the timing, that is kind of bringing confusion in the minds of people that don't understand.
Exactly.
But for me, I understand what Dr. Nelly is saying.
And I
have done research. That is for me.
Yeah,
so now you know my own stand. What is your own stand? Forget about whether the timing is wrong. What is your own stand about it? I just want to know that.
No. My stand for now is I want us to get Biafra. I want Nnamdi Kanu out, and let's get Biafra. Then you don't disregard knowledge. We have to go and dig deep into Nelly's revelations. She's not a fool. That's an intelligent young lady. She's smart. So she's not talking trash. The point is, for now, let's run with the Bible says whole division. Run with it. We are running with the vision of Biafra. Because as Nnamdi Kanu is in detention, let me ask you a question. You get up tomorrow to Nigeria and tell Nnamdi Kanu, well, based on research, we have discovered that we have decided to jettison the Biafran issue. We are Idu people who've done research. So I've come to inform you that we are now answering Idu. How do you think Nnamdi Kanu is going to look at it, even if you are saying the truth? It's like you're just trashing everything he has raised up over the years, regardless of your knowledge, how true it may look like. So we start with something. We run as a people. Once we are divided along the road, that is what they have always used against us, that they are never decided in one voice or one mind. Somewhere along the line, ideas will come up, they deviate, and they don't meet their target again. So Jesus told them, don't remove the wheat, the plant and this thing together. Leave them, let them go. During harvest, we shall not know. When Nnamdi Kanu comes out, he will come out. It is not determined by somebody's comment or belief or prophecy. You are talking about a people that runs into about 100 million, not just those in Igbo land. I'm talking spread around. You're talking about the destiny of generations to come. So you have to give them a chance. Whatever you know. Look, I read a book by the Mormons, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, by Joseph Smith in America here. And they told them how they came out as a people that in America, he's the last prophet that God brought. The people believe in him. He's the last prophet. He saw revelations, according to him, from Angel Moroni that visited him and gave him books that he should read. And then he wrote his own Bible, added to the Bible. He believes in the Bible, had an addition. Those are all the things that come. And you cannot throw it away. You have to go and read and understand what he's saying, if it is true or not. So, but now Americans know that they are Americans. Whatever Joseph Smith knows does not in any way change the American people. So all they now have to do is to go into Joseph Smith's revelation, do research, and if it is true, they will come back together and speak. If not, they'll just throw it aside. So me, I'm not against Dr. Nelly. I'm saying the timing is wrong. We have started with Biafra until barely 3 weeks ago or 1 month ago. You were talking Biafra.
I'm still talking Biafra.
Exactly.
So I'm not saying Biafra, but I'm asking you, what is your opinion on Idu? Do you think that we have anything with Idu? That I understand what you're saying, but I'm just asking, do you think we have anything with Idu?
Yes, I do, but not now. Because not many people as accommodating, intelligent, or able to, absorb things quickly like you can do. Not many people can do that. So you must put that into your mind when dealing with people.
Okay, Pastor. Let me now say something, because I waited for you to say a lot so that I can get your point of view. Let me tell you why Dr. Nelly bring the issue of Idu. She said, and you can agree with me, it's been how long we have been fighting for Biafra? For a long time. If I will ask you, why is it that Biafra has not come? I don't know your answer, but you're going to talk. We know that Biafra has been sold so many times, and we cannot eat our cake and have it. If we want to start from when it all started, Ojukwu, the eternal leader of Biafra, he was again betrayed and manipulated. and the Biafra was defeated. Wasurike came and also sold Biafra and got paid handsomely for it. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came. The same thing happened. He was betrayed and now kidnapped and is in DSS custody. And I can tell you, what happened in the past will still happen. So we have seen that there's a lot of betrayals, brothers selling out brothers. And I think that there was a covenant that was made with this name, that he was sold this name, and even the elite today, the elite in Biafra land will tell you that they are not interested in Biafra, that Biafra was something that was forgotten and was done with. The elite, the political class, the people that are supposed to speak for us. And right now we see that there's a lot of manipulation. Even in the US, you can confirm that there are betrayals. They are selling our brother. Why? That is where Dr. Nelly came in with a Jew. He's saying that that name Biafra is something that has been designed for them to be killing us anytime we mention it. And our leader went to UN. And I can remember in a broadcast when our leader said that he went to UN, and when he mentioned Biafra, everybody stood up. That he doesn't even understand that whenever he talks about Biafra, people tend to run away from it. What is it that is about this thing? And then he later said in one of his broadcasts that he knew the reason why Biafra has not come. Because of the Jew Igodomigodo, as at that time. And then he started telling us that we need to go and dig deep about this. You understand me? So we are thinking, and we can confirm from every day what is happening. From Ojukwu period till now, it has always been filled of betrayals, manipulations. We are the one killing ourselves. Why? And Dr. Nelly believes that it has something to do with that name, Biafra. And that is where she come and said, until we know who we are, that is when we can even free our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, from DSS custody. That is where she started preaching about it. And she started saying that the manipulations and the betrayal that's among God, that even us, we can't even explain what is going on, what has happened with that name, and what they have done with that name, even with our forefathers, that it was a covenant, and it has to do with blood covenant, that this name was a name that was designed to kill us. I don't know if you understand what, if you agree with me with all these facts. Then if you agree with me, what do you think is the way forward? Should we still, because the name Biafra is known all over the world and it has not given us freedom, and they have been killing us, they have been betrayals, and we are still using that name? What if our true identity is not that name? Please make your comment on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Biafra did not start with Ojukwu. Before the Biafra nation was formed, we had Biafra, if not that thing, bite of Biafra. So if it is a bite, it means there is a landmass from which that name came out to be given to that water passage, like you have bite of Benin now. So Biafra did not start with Ojukwu. Biafra only came into physical or military force because the Igbos were being killed in the north, and in an effort to stop the pogrom, Ojukwu tried to safeguard his people by declaring the Biafran Republic, and he did not say it himself. Somebody else said in the midst of his lieutenants. Then number two, when you talk about betrayal or covenant, who signed the listen, when you want to talk about covenant, you talk about the patriarchs who started something. It is not people halfway concerning a nation that had existed before your arrival. If you want to constitute an elemental, a covenant, you have to get a live stick, dig hole, get a chicken, cut the head, pour the blood on the stick inside that hole, cover it with sand, and make your comments. The moment you make comment, a shrine, an elemental, a covenant has been formed. You are the starting point of that covenant. Before then, it never existed. And that is the biblical pattern. Abraham instituted a covenant with God, or God instituted a covenant with Abraham. Abraham slaughtered, and God had to pass in between those things. Jacob had to raise the stone and pour libation and name that land. This is the name, and went forward, and that name remained. So it was Wazurike that covenanted Biafra. How old is he? It was not even Ojukwu. How old is Ojukwu? Because Biafra, the name Biafra had existed before Ojukwu came into the picture. That's one. And number two, you said you don't like religion, but somehow you're playing into it now. If you say that you believe that there is something like a cover, when we talk about religion, it's not just Christianity, it's not just Islam. Even the one we do in the home there is religion to the gods of the land. It's covenant. So somehow you are buying the idea because she believes it. Now we're talking on trust, betrayals. Is there any magic in the name Idu that at the mention of the name Idu, every spirit of man within the Biafra land would behave very well?
Mazi, that question, sorry to cut. I want to also cut in. So it's just like saying that question you asked me now is like saying, is there any name, any magic in the name Jesus Christ that by the mentioning of the name Jesus Christ, everybody will be saved?
I was going to say that. Listen, that okay. Even Jesus Christ, the Son of God, I think he is the only name that has that power. Now, if you listen to that scripture, it did not say that the moment the name of Jesus is mentioned, every man must bow immediately. No, it says they should. Go and read the King James Version. It says, at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow. It's a command as expected by divine ordination. Flouting it has consequences either now or in the future. But the directive is, at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow. So every knee that refuses to bow at the name of Jesus has programmed itself for judgment and condemnation because it refused to bow based on the instruction at the name of Jesus. In the book of Philippians, it says, wherefore God has highly exalted him and given him a name that is above every other name, that at the name of Jesus, every knee should. It did not say every knee must. If it says must, it means immediately they must bow. If they don't, there'll be consequences immediately, or God must force their need to. No, it said the instruction is you should do this whenever the name of Jesus is mentioned.
So, Mazi, please, let me bring your mind back. I know we can talk about that properly. But what I want to bring your mind back is, remember the major question is, you said that Ojukwu didn't start it, that there was bite of Biafra. And so why do we need to fight for a nation if there was a bite of Biafra? And then Ojukwu fought for it. He did not get it. And Raf Wasrike came. He did not get it. Now Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came. My question is, why have we not actualized it?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. Yes. There are two persons that have really fought for Biafra truthfully. Is Ojukwu and Nnamdi Kanu. From the mode of operation of Raf Wasrike, it was evident, just like Asari Dokubo also is fighting for Biafra. Suddenly everybody has gone quiet. These guys had their own personal agenda. The two persons that really, really fought for Biafra is Ojukwu and Nnamdi Kanu. And that you fought for a nation and didn't get it does not mean you should not continually fight for it. I'm going to give you a historical reference. There was a man in Israel called Judas Maccabees. He fought for the liberation of the Jews from Roman control, and he failed. It did not stop Barabbas, even in the time of Jesus Christ, to raise up insurrection against the wicked Roman government against the Jewish people. And yet Jesus was there preaching. It did not stop Barabbas from doing it. And even after Jesus had come and gone, and the temple had been destroyed by General Titus Vespasian, subsequent people that have fought for Israel to come as a nation failed until the time that God appointed. And once that time reached, there was a vote in the United Nations that voted that Israel will be a nation. As of then, the present-day Palestine was a barren land, a desert land, which the cactus tree that is very friendly with barren, hot desert land found it difficult to survive under such circumstances. Nobody was living there until the time came. And when the time came, things started coming together. There was the Biafra declaration. There was the vote. And then, in fact, this guy started it. What's his name? Their first leader there was Benjamin Grossman, who was the first Jewish leader. This thing started from afar. This one will come, they will try, they will fail. This one will come, they will try. They called them the Zionist movement. They did their best. It did not stop them from carrying on, because God has appointed a day that He give it to the people. Now, from the way we are looking at things, ours is not as difficult as theirs, because they fought in the olden times when there was not much civilization. Now, Ojukwu couldn't succeed because the timing. He was forced to declare Biafra. He didn't want to. The timing was not appropriate. We didn't have young men like you and others who could speak from afar, from close, who were educated, who had money, who could reason like him. We just had our local people and few educated people. And yet, they betrayed him. Betraying the cause of a nation is a normal thing among those who have their own personal agenda with the taskmasters. It's a normal thing. And if somebody has a belief that because it failed here and failed here, then something must be wrong, we are going to change the name. That's why I asked you that question. We are going to bring Jesus. The only name that has that power is Jesus. If we answer Idu, is it going to change under people's mindset? Idu is not a magical name. Even the God of heaven, let's not call Jesus his son. Elohim is mentioned. People still disrespect. Some people don't even believe that there is God. Some people despise the name Elohim, and God has not killed them, but He has appointed a day that is going to judge them. Whether they like it or not, our opinion don't matter. So what I'm saying is, don't get me as one that's against Idu. No. I'm saying for now, what made this your program popular is the fight for the Biafran cause. What made you a force to reckon with, considering your age and when you came in? I mean, based on the way they do things.
I'm part of the COVID-19 IPOB members.
So you just came a few days ago, but because God is gathering certain people at certain times for certain purpose to hit at a target at the time He has appointed, He has brought you from your own angle. Do you see that the discussion no longer centers around Voice of Biafra, this thing, channel? It's no longer there. People listen more on what comes out from this channel. God knows why He raised this thing about this time. These conspiracies were going to come. Nnamdi Kanu said it with his own mouth. I need 100 men. They were there. He said he needed 100 men. Nnamdi Kanu said, the problem I have is that we don't have men in Biafra. They were there. He said, we don't have men in Biafra. And Nnamdi Kanu said, the moment the women pick up, Biafra will be actualized. And they were there. The women have picked up and Biafra is being actualized. So what else are we looking for? We are going to go into, listen, you don't just, the only nation that was born in one day was Israel in the book of Isaiah. A nation cannot be born in a day. It took Nnamdi Kanu long, 10 years, to convince people that they are Biafrans, and the nation was born. It took him time of teaching, research. They abused him. He went to so many places, travel area. Then I want to ask you a question again. Do you know why people are always afraid when they mention Biafra? What if the other way around? No, people know, maybe they get turned off. What if the other way around, they are afraid of the name Biafra? Because that means glorious emancipation, which will put to question the white man's intelligence. What if that is the case? It's just like somebody mentions Nsima Obong, where the US are having their meeting. They take offense. Because the mention of his name brings into mind TV programs that questions their integrity, questions their capacity. So it makes them afraid. What if that is the case with Biafra? Because Nnamdi Kanu came out and took almost the whole world to the cleaners. So we have to see it also from that angle. That's why I say, because I'm looking at it, if I were Nnamdi Kanu, I will expect you, if you're loyal to me, I started something. Stand with me until we get it. Whatever is your day after that, hence you have gotten, bring it. Don't tell me that unless we change this one, which God has given. You know, God gave Nnamdi Kanu the revelation about Biafra. God is also giving Nelly or the revelation about the Duke. So,
Pastor, thank you very much. Let's leave it there. And just like you said, it took Mazi Nnamdi Kanu longer time to lecture people about Biafra. I think we also have long time to also lecture people on other things that is important.
Exactly.
But let us do this about what has happened now for so far. It's been 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And according to you, you said that BOS have made mistakes and we should not try to crucify them. What will be your advice for the DOS? For the fact that, sorry, let me lay some foundation. For the fact that people expected so much from them, but they didn't get that. And they told people, Biafrans, that they are doing some underground work and that they know better, that they council, for example, the council sit at home and say they're going to bring something better. And it's been 6 months. And then they also told us that there's a political solution coming, that the elders are giving us hope. So based on this thing that has happened and they have actually failed the people, what do you think that DOS should do at this point? If it was a mistake and if they were able to agree now to come back and do amends, what should they do and what would be your advice for them?
Look at my face. Nsima, look at my face. I'm sorry to disappoint you. You can never expect anything good from the US. Forget it. Just forget it. If you have all these things you have mentioned, were you listening to yourself? Were you listening to all those things? What do you expect? What? Nothing. So we have to put our heads together and take the way forward. It's just that they are there. I'm not even calling them lame dogs because they have done something. It would have been better they were called lame dogs who are innocent of all these crimes mentioned against them and their actions and attitudes so far. Let me put it this way. EMEKA said there shall be no election in Biafra land, beginning with Anambra State. If you believe that EMEKA is a man, because a lot of prophecies he said came to pass, that Reverend Kuka, Bishop Kuka came out openly and said, this man is a prophet of God. He's saying the truth. And this man whom you are following said things, and those things were coming to pass. You were seeing God manifesting in this man's life, the hand of God manifesting. God can choose anybody who wants to liberate a nation. No? It's not necessary that he must choose a pastor. So don't look at it from my angle. Forget about the pastor. We're talking about liberating. You know, when we talk about Biafra, I follow Namdu in toto. It has nothing to do with theology. There are areas where we may not agree. But that's why, like I said, like they do, I put the theology apart for now. And let's focus and get Biafra. Then when we come into Biafra, we start talking gospel, which he might invite me and let's talk on TV. We are going to talk. People have removed sit-at-home ordered for election, asking for political solution. In fact, I heard that Mas Chike went to Nigeria and is just moving freely. If Nelly tries it, she can't even try coming near to even Cotonou. They will take her and go and lock her in dungeon. You know why? Because they know that Nelly is an ardent Biafran activist that believes in the freedom of the Biafran people. So why did they allow Mas Chike to move around? You should use your teeth, not your tongue this time. You should use your teeth to cut your tongue. So if you're expecting anything, bros, you have to think twice. So you can never get anything good from them. You're wasting your time. We have to sit down and think and know the way forward. Whomother have started. Nnamdi Kanu gave a window. He said, when the women start, they have started. What do you and I do and other men? How do we gather around these women support them and help give them direction. Because we cannot leave everything into their hands. In the long run, they're all women under their husbands. So we have to come in and see where we can encourage them. We do this way. Let them listen to us. We make, because you cannot work in isolation. That's why I have your team. We have your ministers and personal aides and advisors. They have to sit together, rub minds, tell them that, okay, why don't you do it this way? Why don't you follow it this way? Why don't you take this way? Why don't you? But we are focused on our goal. So if you're expecting anything from the US, I'm very sorry to disappoint you. You're wasting your time. Instead of things getting better, if you still depend on the US, you will shed tears, you will cry and lament and wail, because the ones that are going to do, they're doing in front in the next few months to come.
Wow.
Wow,
you said that we should focus on our women, the Umuada, and now the women have come with a strategy. One of the strategies is the sit at home on Sunday and Monday. What do you have to say about the sit at home on Sunday and Monday? Even as some people still have, some people say, oh, Sunday is not the better day. Let's put it this day. Let's do it this day. But our mothers have said, let us do it on Sunday. And they give tangible reasons. One of the reasons is that the Sunday will help the religious leaders to speak up, since it's their congregation that is suffering. And then they said that Monday will make the political leaders to also understand that enough is enough. What is your take on the Sunday and Monday sit at home?
I answer you with a question. Don't you think they have a point?
Of course. Yeah, but I want to hear from you, because many people
don't hear from me. Our religious leaders, a lot of them are just fake. They are busy defending their empires. They don't care about the people who pay tithes and offering in the churches, whose wives and sisters are being raped. You know, there was a time when people wanted, there was a time Oyedepo, somebody they said they want to come and bomb his church or something like that. And he gave an instruction, if you can't catch him, kill him. That they just set aside fearing God now, because he has to do with what he has. If you catch him, kill him. Until it touches you, you will not understand how the other person feels. When Umuada said it, I wanted to know the reason why they decided to put it on Sunday when people go to church to worship God. The answer they gave, the reason they gave was very cogent. They said to bring our religious leaders, bring their attention into this issue. Once they stay on Sunday and they don't get offering and tithe, it's going to affect their resources. You will see them begin to turn around to ask, why they are killing our people? This sit at home should stay. Biafran should be taken care of. But for now, they are hobnobbing with those in authority, eating money. They don't care. So what Umuada said is in order. I'm telling the truth. I'm a preacher of the gospel. Because if I, as a man of God, fail to speak the truth, when I am supposed to say it, God will raise you. And when he raises you to speak the truth, he will put me aside. And whatever decision you take will affect me negatively. I don't have anybody to complain to, because that same God is the one that raised you up. You follow me? So the Umuada are saying something that is reasonable, not out of rebellion. No. By this understanding, the church have refused to respond. So far, the person that is responding, I think, is Farambaka. You have Iginla or something, one other pastor, very few of them. That others are busy running around their ministries as if nothing is happening in the country, as if nobody's being killed, collecting their money and posting on living fine. But their members are those whose wives were raped, their daughters were raped, their sons were killed. And you come to say, may God give you the grace to bear the loss in Jesus' name. Father, may you heal this man. Then when it comes to touching them, if you catch anybody near the church premises, kill him. No, that's not right. Let's say the truth. Look, I'm not interested in followership. I don't even need you to follow me. It's not necessary. Because at the end of the day, I stand before God to give account of myself. So I'm not answerable to you. So I have to speak the truth. And since I'm working, I don't need the offering. So if I preach the gospel, you don't like it, that's fine. But I love you and I take time to read and pray, I come and preach to you. They are making a terrible mistake. Very few pastors are speaking out. Very few of them. So the Umuada, by saying Sunday, I know the reason why they said it is to bring the attention of men of God, not to cause members of the church to be rebellious against God. Because if the pastors had been speaking, they wouldn't put Sunday. They would have put maybe Monday and Tuesday. So it will affect the religious leaders and the political leaders. And that of Monday has affected the political leaders. You saw how they were responding. If not that, at the final analysis, at the tail end, the US suddenly changed all these things. If that election hadn't been held, it would have been a big blow, because it was clear who is the leader of Biafra. It's not the governors. Everyone knew it was Nnamdi Kanu. When Ifeanyi went to Lagos, you saw what happened. His convoy was coming. They didn't attack him. They didn't kill him. They began to sing the praise of Nnamdi Kanu. He was forced to join them. Do you understand me? So that's it.
Okay, I also wanted to make a comment on the economic sanctions as proposed by our brother Mazi Simon Ekpa. Economic sanctions, where the revenue in the market, we should stop paying our revenue to the federal government since they are not doing anything. Their presence is not even felt in Biafra land, and they are killing us and all of that. What do you think about these economic sanctions, if it's something that we should embark on?
When you look at Simon Ekpa, what does he represent? Somebody says, I am a disciple of Nnamdi Kanu. And you see him every day making broadcasts, spending his money to build a channel, getting blows, curses from all angles. What is the interest of Ekpa by asking for economic sanction? At the end of the day, will the money be sent to Simon Ekpa's account? He is sitting down to think. What he is saying is on a higher level, a country like America can impose on Nigeria. On a higher level, not within the state level where people wouldn't pay their taxes or do this. No, it's like from the higher level, America will say, okay, you cannot import anything from Europe for the next 6 months. That will bring you on your knees economically. You cannot export your oil. That brings you on your knees. Are you following what I'm saying? You cannot get loan. You cannot transact any business. That is grounding you. On a mini scale, that is what Simon Ekpa is doing. As one of the leaders, whether you like it or not, is one of the leaders of Biafra today. My opinion doesn't matter in this case, whether we like it or not. By reason of his activities, is one of the leaders of Biafra. So if he's asking, I've not met with him, I've not discussed with him, I did not advise him to, I didn't ask him to. He, as a man that has the interest of Biafra in his heart, and Biafra is listening to him, having watched his activities so far, the sacrifices he has made, the comments he has made, the advances he has made, and he said, we are going to impose sanctions. And if Biafrans listening to him and impose the sanction, and it has effect, do you have any problem with that? I'm asking.
Is it question to me? I don't have problem with
okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So may God bless Simon Ekpa in the effort he's doing. May God help him. But you know he's putting himself into trouble. He should know that any day he crosses around Nigeria until Biafra comes, they will just take him sharp. So
yeah. So I just wanted to
even we ourselves, we're talking from the biblical perspective where we are not trying to fuel anger or hatred against anybody. We're trying to mellow down things. Because in the long run, as a man of God, if I preach to you to go and kill somebody, God will hold me responsible for advancing the killing of people.
So I want to ask you, do you think you can go to Nigeria freely and come back?
Well, I don't know. See what this question now. Well, I don't know. I don't know because listen, look at my hope. Let me tell you the truth. Live on Facebook, Facebook or whatever, YouTube. I want a situation where Biafra will come. I'll go back to Biafra and preach the gospel. My family can decide to stay here. This is my personal responsibility and calling. So if they decide to follow me, if I don't decide, they are grown up, they should make their own decision. I want Biafra to come. I will go back. That is where I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay home and preach the gospel to my people. There will be contentions. There will be argument. I might even have a strong argument with you live, face to face. Come bring it up and let's talk from the Bible, because my intention is to tell you what the Bible says for your good and for my good, not to intimidate you or to look you as a bad person. No, because none of us is good before God, not even a single person.
Mazi, I want to ask you the question concerning this. You know, our leader, through one of his brokers, recommended Mazi Simon Ekpa.
Yes.
And he said we should go and listen to him, that this man is bringing a new dimension to the show.
Exactly.
And for me, I started embracing Mazi Simon Ekpa. I started listening to his message, I started sharing. Sometimes I even broadcast. And then even our leader was like saying, we need 100 men. We need people of integrity, people that are of strong mind that he can take for this fight. And then even Mazi Simon Ekpa stepped up and began to do more. And but we started seeing how some people, they are attacking him, coming after him on the E-rats. Even as you go now on social media, you will see people started to condemn him. For me, I think we're supposed to embrace our brother Mazi Simon Ekpa. That is an addition or added value to us. But people are now using the media that we are supposed to use to propagate the gospel for our salvation, to be attacking Simon Ekpa, even on Radio Biafra and all of that. So what do you think about this? Why are people, why are these E-rats not using the media to propagate our freedom, but using it to be attacking people like Simon Ekpa, even me and other people like that? Please, go ahead.
Somebody might say now that, okay, if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu says should listen to Simon Ekpa, what about Omote, who will go up, come down? It's like free radicals that move like that. Simon Ekpa has proved himself to take this thing in another dimension, apart from the way Nnamdi Kanu was operating. Ekpa is very good in analyzing a TV program, a speech somebody makes, and presenting it. At the beginning, I found him boring when Nnamdi Kanu was still on. Until Nnamdi Kanu said, listen to Simon Ekpa. So I said to myself, Nnamdi said I should listen. That means Nnamdi Kanu has been listening to this guy, and this guy's been making sense. So all I just need is patience. Let me hear him out. So from then on, I realized that Simon Ekpa has something to offer. Do you understand me? As per is being criticized by people. Who told you they're not criticizing your program? You think everybody is buying your program? Look, the biggest criticism Jesus had were the Pharisees, those in leadership. And at particular times, the people will side him. At particular times, they'll be against him. So of 3.5 years of Jesus in the ministry, doing all he can as God's son, when he left, he had only 120 disciples. 3.5 years of successful ministry. All he had was 120 disciples. But God was able to work with that to evangelize the whole world. We may be few that believe in what Simon Ekpa is doing, but because God has strategically placed us in areas where we are functioning to further expand what Nnamdi Kanu said, what Simon Ekpa is saying, and what we are saying, the thing is reaching and having effect. It will take time, but we just keep on going on. Right now, the truth remains, and I've told you before, after Nnamdi Kanu, the next person who commands that followership in audience listening to him is Simon Ekpa. In fact, it's like he's trying to, his ministry has kind of eclipsed Radio Biafra, which somebody said it is now a channel for gossip. So you go and listen to Simon Ekpa. So that's God working, because everybody thought that DOS, I know Biafra will continue, and we're willing to stay under them and let's give them the hand and let them move on. But we realize that, is it different interests that they had, or I don't understand whether they didn't understand Nnamdi Kanu's manner of operation, or were they part of those that wanted him out so that they will now, carry out their own personal agenda to be recognized, and the way things are coming out now, people, money collected here, money sent here, people are being killed, money that was given to people were not given, or money that was supposed to come people directly was passing through another person's account to pass, which is wrong. All those mix up, those muddled up, connect. It's not what we want. Nnamdi Kanu was straightforward, and Simon Ekpa is trying his best to be straightforward, talking, spending his money and resources. Those who God has raised to follow him, we follow him. Jesus walked with only 120. It was enough with that 120. And the whole world was evangelized. After 3.5 years of miracles, the Son of God from heaven had only one. All the multitude he performed miracles on. When the time came, they said they wanted Barabbas. And Jesus was crucified. Barabbas, the insurrectionist, was let free, the thief. So it's not a new thing. That's why I'm asking you. Do you think everybody likes your channel? Or don't you think some people are calling you agent of darkness, that you're a devilish person that wants to take over Biafra, you and others? Don't you think so? Do you know how they have abused Dr. Nelly? Umada Biafra, they call them harlots and prostitutes. It's not a big. Do you know how many times people have abused me personally? Somebody just sent me a text on Facebook because I made a broadcast on Sunday after service in the church. He said I'm blind and deaf. He abused me.
Pastor, the question I have is about, do you think that ever since our leader was kidnapped, that the comment that this movement is now going into autopilot is correct?
Yes, it is. Look at why. Let me tell you why. Let's not misunderstand the autopilot thing. It is not designed to rebel against the leadership of the US. Autopilot came as a consequence of their inability to fill the vacuum. Now, it went beyond them. It is not human beings. It is God in control. Because the betrayals we have seen done against Nnamdi Kanu has shown that the restoration of Biafra will not come through those people you look at. So that tomorrow nobody will come and say, dear sir, when you were not around under my watch, I kept Biafra in good order. They like to sit down, big chair, and be reverenced and, respected and given national honor. God just allow everything to be exposed, that even the most hardened follower of the US is beginning to reconsider and take a better look at the whole thing again. So the autopilot means activities are not being influenced by Nelly. They're not being influenced by Umwada. They're not being influenced by DOS. They're not being influenced by Simon Ekpa. It is God who will take the glory eventually. Because if we trace our history that we are Jews, then the hand of God is upon us. If we stand on our history that we are Jews, Hebrews, Igbo, a post, or is it a corrupted translation of or spelling of the word Hebrew? Ekpa said it in his book. There were slaves, Hebrew slaves. They were later on called Igbo slaves by people who could not pronounce very well. What I Portuguese, I don't know. There was later called Igbo. I don't know. That's what I read. That's what I heard. I did not make any research. If we trace our genealogy to Jewish ancestry, then the hand of God is with us.
Ich habe eine positive Grundeinstellung und konzentriere mich auf die Dinge, die einen Ort unverwechselbar und interessant machen. Mit meiner Erfahrung bin ich in der Lage, meine Sicht auf die Welt viel stimmiger in meinen Bildern wiederzugeben.
That is where my faith stands. And if you listen, that's why I'm a strong follower of Nnamdi Kanu in his faith in God. He believes so much in the God of heaven and believes in his son, Jesus Christ. He calls him Yeshua HaMashiach. That's the Hebrew translation of that name. And a post-transliteration of Yeshua HaMashiach is Jesus Christ. Just like YHWH, the tetragrammaton, the post-transliteration of that tetragrammaton is Jehovah, by putting certain vowels within the Hebrew letters that make the name to be pronounceable, called Yahweh. You understand me? So, if we believe that we are from the God of Israel, then his hand is upon us. Let's believe what Nnamdi Kanu is saying concerning you can't be greater than your master. If Nnamdi Kanu is telling you that he believes in Jehovah Elohim, he doesn't worship idols. He went to Israel to worship. Nnamdi Kanu will kneel down and pray. He will say, Jesus Christ taught us how to pray, our Father which art in heaven. If you believe that, follow Nnamdi Kanu. A servant is never greater than his master. If God gave him revelation, it will affect you positively.
Thank you very much, Pastor. It's been 2 hours. Yeah. I don't know how much more time you have, because on this channel we can stay up to 5 hours.
No, sir. I had serious catarrh and cough. So this is not my voice. So it just stopped very well yesterday, and I went to church. Otherwise, for 2 or 3 days, I was down, eating, drinking water, taking medication, sleeping, I wasn't out, just inside my room. I didn't even go out to the living room. Even right now, I'm in my room, not in the living room. Yeah, okay. So that people will feel free. In America, if you have catarrh, they classify it as COVID.
Yes. Okay. Let's take a few more minutes before I let you go.
Okay.
What do you have to say about this confusion that is led by the DOS and the ERATs? We have not actually heard from the DOS anyways, but anything that the ERAT is propagating might come from one of them, about the closure of a bank account and the opening of a new bank account. And like people are confused. They say, oh, Umeri account is closed. Oh, we now have a new account. Why do you think this confusion at this point?
I'm not going to think of anything. I'll give them an instruction. Nnamdi Kanu picked a woman and made her director, audit and what?
Asset recovery.
Asset recovery. That means she was like the auditor of IPOB worldwide. Now, in every setup, you could have the manager, the directors, the chairman. The auditor usually is not part of the team. They normally ask him to come and investigate and find out how resources have been spent. And whenever the auditor comes, people begin to urinate hot urine, especially those who stole money. Now, it is what the auditor says concerning the account of the company that the company takes even to the court. Are you following me? The person who has the proper information about the account to pay money to is Dr. Nelly Ofebu. Unless she begins to change that account now. The one she said, the Umeri account, we know. When Chike Dozien was asked, he did not refute it. When Umuada confronted him, he accepted that Nnamdi Kanu said they should transfer this money into the Umeri account. That is ESN account. And that is what Nelly said, and she's still standing on it. If she says on that account tomorrow, then I will not buy that. But as long as I know the person you can, because she's not part of the DOS. So she has nothing to gain from them in leadership. They don't pay her a dime. She's an independent investigator. She's like the IRS of IPOB. And she's so much feared because she can research and she can talk and she's very bold. Any account that she gives you outside the one that she has given, that is the Umeri account, is not the true account. Any other account you are hearing, you were formed after Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, they are not acceptable. Our leader left. It's just like when Jesus was going to heaven. He called Peter and said, when you are converted, strengthen your brethren. And as soon as Jesus left, Peter started expelling all the apostles. Bros, you can understand what's going on. Peter has a different agenda. That's what's happening. The absence of Nnamdi Kanu, people are coming up with different accounts. There's just one account we know. I had paid money into the liaison account before at the early stage until I realized that it was through Nelly's information that I realized that that liaison account was wrong, that the correct account is the Umeri account. And there was a publication to show to that effect that Nnamdi Kanu said it. What else do you want to? How can people be so much confused? What confusion are they getting into? Biafrans, it is the Umeri account, the ESN account. That's where you pay your money into. any other account was not sanctioned or approved by Nnamdi Kanu, then don't do it. If you do it, well, it's your money. Because the Umeri account does not give room for payment of money to any person except taking care of Nnamdi Kanu's family. I mean, his wife and his children. That's the only thing I think that can be accepted. Any other person should go and work, make money, and take care of his or her own family. No be so. Because you don't expect me that if I go and stress myself 8-10 hours a day and come back, money to take care of my family, then I go and pay it, and some other person is sitting pretty and eating and enjoying and telling me, no. We know we have one leader, it's Nnamdi Kanu. It's the responsibility of Biafrans to take care of that man and his children, his wife.
Okay, thank you for that comment. If today nobody has been fighting Dr. Nelly, we would have think that maybe Dr. Nelly is doing something bad. But now people are fighting her for doing her job, which means she's actually doing her job properly. And that brings the question of auditing. There's a publication by Dr. Nelly saying that for 5 years, IPOB account worldwide has not been audited. Don't you think that is a big problem? That even the authorities in each of this country, if they rise up, that can be a big problem for us. And why is it that these people have refused to submit the account for auditing?
That is why she's the auditor. She's the kind of auditor that does not compromise. Because if she was kind of auditor that compromises, this kind of information wouldn't have come up. They would have talked at the background, know how to fix up things, and then end it up. You saw when Simon Ekpa gave a revelation of what happened in the hall that IPOB hired in Finland, and how the person that was in charge went behind and was collecting some money. Do you understand me? Until he made that publication known, we didn't know. So if he had kept quiet, it would have been going underground like that, just like that. Even the people who spoke against that thing before suddenly turned around and spoke against Simon Ekpa, and their problem was, why did you allow Simon Ekpa to know this or be here? Now, Nelly, look, Nelly is the kind of person which the American people would like to work in their government as an auditor, because she's going to find you out. She's going to dig deep, put you on a hot seat. It's not your money. It's the money of the people. And so she's doing her job. That's why she's the auditor. If Nelly should do anything less than what she's doing now, then she's missing it. So she's doing a good job. If she's still digging deep and bringing up this kind of information, be expecting Nelly has more to give, which you hear. And it will be putting people on hot seat. I tell you the truth, if they have a chance, they will kill her. But they cannot, because God is with her. They can't do anything.
Yes, I know. Your comment on the lawyers, because there was a recent revelation by Simon Ekpa that Professor Lumumba was also refused to be part of the legal team of our leader. And now, in recent cases, things that have unfolded because of the legal team. First of all, the last court issue that happened, that the judge adjourned the case without the presence of the lawyers. And up till now, another update from the lead counsel, Barrister Ejiofor, saying that they have gotten someone else that is of senior. What do you think about that? What do you think about all this thing that is going on?
I'm looking at it from 3 angles. This is what confirms this autopilot. Look at a person like Patrice Lumumba being part of it. So, Biafran issue has gone beyond our region. It's taking a global coloration. Are you following me? It is hitting Africa, going globally. We have the white man from overseas that wanted to come. So Patrice Lumumba is not a Nigerian, but he has studied Nnamdi Kanu's teachings, the Biafran issue, and he wants to come and defend him. That's a good one. Now, there was a comment Nelly made, because that's why I want to come to that. When I made that comment, this person, I think Master Prophet, or what they call him, called me. It's part of the reason why he called me. Nelly was very, very angry that why did they leave Nnamdi Kanu in the court alone, very vulnerable. And I made a publication to that. I was very angry myself. Now, with all due respect to Ejiofor and Ejimako, these are legal practitioners. So I don't tell them their jobs. But from the layman's point of view, you are, it's not intended to rubbish any person, God forbid. These are not the kindest counsels. I respect them. You have a high profile person like Nnamdi Kanu, whom his enemies are looking for the slightest opportunity to crucify him and remove him. And they agreed that now you can bring your team into the court to come and defend him. And that day came. While you were waiting for the judge to come, the judge delayed. You decided to go out and have a tete-a-tete. And they were just timing you, because they know that you have a better argument that will floor their own. But you did not think ahead. As you just went out, the judge came in. Where's the counsel? The lady did an adjournment. That puts him vulnerable. It's very painful. That hurt Nelly, Dr. Nelly so much. And I felt it very bad. Because what tete are you going to have? You had a long time to prepare for this case. You would have done all your discussion. That day you sit in the court. Even if she's going to stay there for 10 hours, you wait for her today. But that little moment you got distracted, the enemy struck. Otherwise, we may not have been saying what we're saying today. Maybe Nnamdi Kanu would have been out. This delay wouldn't have happened. You understand me? Okay. The men who are defending Nnamdi Kanu, they're saying they have gotten somebody that is higher. Well, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't have any. I'm not competent to tell them who they should call or employ. But the issue is that they missed it there. They missed it there. That was just the thing. And you know, things like this. A man that had a reputation for good reasoning, one little mistake destroys everything that he has done. If you take a fly that is dead and open a perfume bottle, put it inside and close it, after a time, if you open it, the smell of that perfume will stink. So a man that has a reputation for good job, like a job for whom we respect, or Jimako, who is a good lawyer, it was an oversight. It was a mistake. It was not deliberate, I'm sure. But that little mistake spoiled a lot of things. And I just pray that they don't make it again. Because I listened to the young man talk, and I like the way he expresses himself. And I'm not a lawyer, so I don't even have any local standing to talk on that issue. The only thing is, somewhere along the line, they missed it. And that was very, very painful. Because they should have known that they're dealing with others who are trying to outsmart them. So they shouldn't give the enemy just a little space. Once you do it, they'll capitalize and they hit you. That's why Nnamdi Kanu is still up to today.
The politicians in the East, we are all aware that they are majorly part of our problem, especially in Imo State. The Supreme Court administrator bringing the army to come and kill the youth. He has bombed so many communities, same thing with Ebonyi and all of that. Do you think that just these 5 people are the major cause of the delay in our freedom?
Yes, they could play a big role in delaying it because constitutionally they were elected or appointed, so to speak. Do you understand me? So they are recognized by the government as representatives of their people. And they occupy a
guys, I don't know if you can hear me. We just... Yes. Oh, hello. Pastor, are you back?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So they can constitute a problem. They can. And it's so hurting that not as if they don't know. Let me tell you their fears. They have gone to the level where they cannot go back again. So for them, it is rather they support every plan against Biafra so that their lives will be preserved and sustained. Because for them, they are fearing that if Biafra comes, where will they run to? Are you following me? The humiliation, the ridicule, the disgrace for generation to generation, they know it. So somebody once said, I read what is his name? One Igbo businessman who said it is better we remain servants to the Northerners because they have the power and money. I think last week. Exactly. So there are people who are willing to, because they have crossed the Rubicon, they cannot come back. So it is better for them to pitch their tent there and let it not happen. Instead, sell the Holy Ghost. Because if not, we are going to die. These guys, if they come, even if they don't kill them, the shame, the disgrace, the humiliation, it will be forever. Otherwise, I don't see any reason why your people have collectively identified with a movement that can liberate them. Why don't you get up and say, this is our people. It's my people. I'm not better than them. They voted me in. So this is what they want. Government, I'm very sorry. We have to join our people and let it work. Yasser Arafat of PLO stood in defense of the Palestinians against Israel. Even where pressure was coming upon him, he said, this is what my people say. That's why the Palestinians love Yasser Arafat. Even though it's a very, very wicked terrorist that was interested in destroying the whole Jews, but he had a principle. He stood for his people. But we don't have that there, and because they have gone too far.
So based on this knowledge, can we get Biafra?
Yes, because it is autopiloting. Remember, if we believe that we are Jews, look, the leader is the arrowhead that God uses to drive a people from one place of bondage to a place of freedom, like he did to Israel, Moses and Israel. And all Moses told them was what he heard from God. They followed him. None of them wanted to know God's commandments more than Moses. Even when Aaron and Miriam tried it, God was very angry and Miriam became leprous. And that was the starting point of Aaron's ministry to end, because later on God told him that Moses, take him up to the mountain, derobe him in the presence of every person, take the robe and put on his son. And Aaron will stay there and die there and be buried. If you believe that Nnamdi Kanu is sent by God, then God will work out this thing for us. We will have to trust God. As they kill us every day, saying it. Me, I will never advocate you taking gun to shoot them back, because I'm not going to stain my hands with your blood. But there are some Biafrans who are willing to shed blood. I don't know them, and I cannot stop them. Are you following me? You need to get this straight. You need to get it straight. As a man of God, this Bible I preach did not say I should take up arms and kill somebody, but that they're killing my people. I'm not happy, and I'm talking against it. Yet among my people, there are those who will tell me, Pastor, okay, we have heard you. Thank you. God bless you. This is our problem. It doesn't concern you. We're going to deal with it. I can't stop them. It's a simple truth. Biafra, we will get it. It's just a matter of time.
So the other question I want to ask, I know that the kidnap of our leader is also something that has revealed so many things that we wouldn't have known.
Exactly.
People that are working against him internally and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also a way of bringing us closer to our freedom. So, but what we are doing now, is it enough for us to be able to release of our leader unconditionally? If not, what else do you think we should do for the release of our leader unconditionally, please?
If there is anything we can do more, if anybody has ideas, let him bring on the table. Let's look at it. And then we follow it. At least we didn't know this channel will come up to this level. It is part of the contribution that is adding to the one that was existing. It is no longer only Simon Ekpa now. We haven't seen her there. And who knows, another person may come up tomorrow. Maybe the person has the ears of the American government or the government of Britain, might be sympathetic to that person. And because of him, change their approach. Are you following me? So if there is, Nnamdi Kanu said, if there is anything you can do to bring the actualization of Biafra, bring it on. We are accepting.
Oh, thank you very much.
So far, so good. Our people are trying their best.
Yes. At this point, I mean, we have lots of channels. We have Biafra Unite now.
Mm-hmm.
We have Freedom Fighter, Faith Ogala. We have Ejiro. We have so many people that are also coming up to speak on media as well, that we are all unifying with the same purpose for our freedom. Pastor, I know I still have lots of questions. I know we can reschedule. I don't know if you will give somebody others opportunity to just ask few questions. They can call in, or maybe one or two.
Of course.
Okay. So guys, you can call in right now and ask your question. And I believe Pastor EMEKA will be able to give answer to your question. So please, the line is open. If you have my number, you can call me right now and ask your question. If you have my number, you can call in now and ask your question. I think one of the questions while we wait for calls is, why do you think the DOS is countering everything that we are doing for our freedom? For example, we say, let us sit at home. They say, oh, no, sit at home. Anybody seen sitting at home will be arrested by the police and all of that. Okay, go ahead. As you're answering that question, I'll try to pick calls.
I asked the question with a question. Who is on the law side? Who is on Nnamdi Kanu's side? Between the DOS and the people who are advancing the Biafran cause. Because the people, did you mute me? Hello?
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. The people who are advancing the instruction that Nnamdi Kanu gave, because we believe that God raised him, gave him wisdom that has been unmatched by any other person within the DOS put together. Now, some people are carrying out what Nnamdi Kanu said. And DOS said, no, we have a better idea. I'm now asking you, who is on Moses as the children of Israel, who is on the Lord's side, who is on Nnamdi Kanu's side? You can use your teeth to count your tongue.
We have a caller on the line. Hello, what is your name and where are you calling from? Please go ahead.
My name is Chuka. I'm calling from London.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Pastor, firstly, I want to talk about when you spoke about the lawyers, where they got it wrong. I agree with you, but for me, as a lawyer, I'm competent to talk about that particular incident. I think, for me, it was deliberate, because every experienced lawyer knows that shouldn't happen. After that day, I checked that court record, and what the court recorded is that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers were not present in court. That's what that is. So the thing is that, please let the lawyers stop giving us all these updates, because they know that our leader has been with one clothing since June, and they come out to tell us he is hale and hearty. We don't want that kind of thing. Then I believe, even as a pastor, for the Israelites to leave Egypt, there were some plagues, either from God. The plagues during that time came from God. We as human beings now on earth, it is time for us to make Nigeria have their own plague, and they will let us go. Plague is what gives people freedom. Freedom is not free. There is no free lunch, even in Freetown. So it is also good sometimes, men of God like you will just, maybe you just put it in a subtle manner and say, if you know how to give them their plague, give them their plague, and let's go on. That's what we want men of God like you to preach to us, so that those of us who have the small spiritual backing from, after all, sometimes it was the men of God who blessed people and said, go to war. We can fight war. The Israelites recently, they forced the Palestinians and brought them to their knees just this year. So we want men of God to encourage us. People like us, we want to carry the arm. We are ready. We are ready.
Thank you, Mazi. Thank you, Mazi. And I also want to say, Pastor, before you respond, don't you think that is part of the reason why the churches, the pastors in Nigeria, they are not responding, just because of the same reason why you don't want to talk about the way you are talking? Please go ahead.
No. The pastors not responding is different from my talking. Hello? Are you listening to me? Now, by the way, before I talk on that, I think I told you that there are some Biafrans who are more pro Nnamdi Kanu than these DOS people. Have you heard this man? He's a lawyer. That is, he can match those guys wit for wit. in legal issues, and he's qualified. He's living in Britain. So this is no mean lawyer. Are you following what I'm saying? I can hear his voice. There are people who are very angry. And if the DOS had carried them the way they were supposed to have been carried, maybe so many things wouldn't have happened. I'm not saying that there would have been war or fighting. And then you are telling me that, don't I think that is what some pastors in Nigeria are doing, that as to why I don't want to make such comment? No. Nnamdi Kanu told pastors, come out and speak against evil. They have refused to. But when it affected their personal ministries, they said, if you catch him, kill him. Now, are you accusing Nnamdi Kanu? Can somebody accuse Nnamdi Kanu now of trying to push pastors into violence when it affected their ministry, without even batting an eyelid? They said, if you catch him, kill him. It's a problem. Are you following me? And then, my dear friend, I understand. In fact, I want to thank God. You should know better than me. I'm not a lawyer, so you know everything about it. So you know how you put all your legal complexities or conundrum or whatever. Now I know as soon as they take talk at the learned people level. Anytime you have chance, you can tell them. But I've made my point clear that they missed it there. It was a wrong move. Now, in respect to asking people to go to war, yes, this man has a point, but let me clarify something. I told you people that if you believe that you are a Jewish man, because the Jews in Israel, even though they don't believe in Jesus, listen to me. The Bible says, concerning the election, they are beloved for the sakes of the fathers. They are beloved of God, regardless of the fact that they don't believe in Jesus. They are beloved of God because of the covenant that God had with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But concerning the gospel, they are enemies of God for our sakes. Because if they don't become enemies of God, the gospel will not come to us. I'm talking now as a born-again Christian. So my orientation as a believer is different from a Jewish rabbi who operates based on Judaic laws that says tooth for a tooth, ear for ear, eye for an eye. Are you following me? So I will not, because of, in a bid to become acceptable, violate the principles my God wants me to operate in. At the long run, I'll stand before him to face judgment. There is a man in Israel called Ame Safati. He's a preacher of the gospel, a born-again Christian. I listen to him. He comes out constantly and gives us update about Israeli activity inside Iranian outlets where they are trying to manipulate and bomb Israel, maybe through Jordan or Syria. He comes out to say it openly. But he is talking, even though he's born again, is on behalf of his country, the Jewish people who are God's people. So I can't be in his shoes. I can't be in his shoes because he's from Israel. Even ourselves who are Biafrans that says we are Jews, we need recognition from Israel. That's why this thing that happened yesterday, where they discussed with the mayor, the assistant mayor of Jerusalem, and one of their legislators, was a very welcome development. Once Israel gives us recognition that we are their people, they will come to fight on our behalf. Then if I begin to speak, God will see me in the part of Ame Safati, that I am not violating the scriptures. I'm talking in defense of my people. But for now, I'm a born-again Christian. So what I can do is I can speak against the violation of human rights, not only in Biafra land, all over Nigeria, but particularly in Biafra land, because that is where the action really is. They are burning houses, raping women, killing our men, destroying our properties. It is not good. So I speak. I don't speak that we should kill them.
Hello, we have a caller on the line. Hello, what is your name and where are you calling from, please?
Please, I'm calling from Biafra, but I will not say my location and also my name.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask Pastor a question.
Yes.
The question I want to ask is, the Israelites, are they the same Jewish?
Sorry?
You hear me very well?
Yes, you said the Israelites, are they the same Jewish people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, yes.
Okay, Pastor, what do you have to say?
From biblical history, revelation, they are.
He said they are. That's what he said.
Okay. Let me go back to now. When it's come to Bible, we have Old and the New Testament, right?
Yes.
In the Old, they're called Israelites. In the New, in the Old, they are Israelites. In the New Testament, they are the Jewish. Am I right?
Yes.
Fine. When they are Israelites, did they fight war?
Yes.
Those are keeping the war. For those, let me put it, those like pastors like you then, did they go to war?
As Israelites in the Old Testament?
Yes. Those that are the pastors, I want to put are pastors then, did they go to the war?
On one occasion, when Jehoshaphat was asked by God to marshal out the armies that were going to fight, the priests went in front and the people came behind, and God went ahead and destroyed the enemies. But ordinarily, those people that go to war are soldiers, primarily from the tribe of Benjamin and any other tribe anyway.
My brother, what is your last question, please? Just ask your question so that I'll let others call in.
Please, I want to ask, how could I ask Pastor, please? I want to give me some time. I'm begging.
No. Just ask your question because it's answered and it's not making, you're not making any point out of it. So what is your question? Yes.
That is why it's after the question and I want to make my point out of this. I'm asking on my own understanding. Okay, fine. I got you. Okay, let me ask for the last question before I will just make my own suggestion. If the Israelites, who happen to be the Hebrews, pastor, when they are the Israelites, the fight, what stops all our pastors this time around to even preach about Biafra? Why not it be only this broadcasting about Biafra should be their own war? Why are they not doing it?
It is sheer hypocrisy, because look at it this way. Look at it this way. People are being killed. People want freedom. And you are there, you have a mouth to speak. We are not saying that you should tell people to take up arms and go and kill Nigerians, but speak against evil in the land. They don't. It's sheer hypocrisy. Because there are some pastors in their midst that are beginning to talk now that what is going on is wrong. I think a man called Joshua Iginla or some other person, I don't know, they have been coming up talking. So pastors should speak against evil. Pastors should talk about the problems that the Biafrans are having, because the concentration is to deal with the Biafrans. There's another pastor that comes out. He said the Lord gave him a revelation about Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra some time ago. Then you have Mbaka who is speaking. So if they don't, it's sheer hypocrisy. Because if you go and attack their facilities, they'll tell their members to kill you. If you pick a pastor's wife and go and rape her and the daughter, maybe his language will change. Though, don't pray for that. So what we are saying is, let them speak. We're not saying that they should say, take up arms and go and kill. No. Speak against evil. There's nothing wrong with that. Everywhere is acceptable.
My brother, make your last point, please.
Okay, my point is this, that I know that even Solomon, as a king, as an Israelite, as a pastor or whatever, went to fight. I know that one for sure. Even David on his own, all of them went to fight. But these days, we are not asking the pastors to fight. And that's why I bring the Israelites is for us, those who claim they are, like you said, there is people that are mentioning about Biafra, they are preaching, they are coming up gradually. We expect it, but we're asking them to do more. Then there is one thing I want to hit on it. Yes, I want to ask us to go and the search about Idu, the kingdom. My question I wanted to ask is, when it's time for, when was that time that we used Biafra name fight then? How many people from Igdomi, Igodo, and the Du Kingdom joined the fight? This is one of my answers, my question I wanted to ask. But let me tell you one thing. The Israelites use one name to do their fight. People know from different areas they are coming from. So in my own way, that's why I said, you don't play football and chief a goal post. You will have to mount a goal post one place before playing the football. Then if anybody wants to score, the net is there ready for you to score. The other side of it is this. We cannot be using a lot of things to confuse ourselves more and more. Yes, it's good for us to know who we are. But if you happen to fight, if you happen to go with Israelites in all their sufferness, they did not change that name Israel for one day. So for me, I will not use any other person to look for this struggle except Biafra, because we have already started. Look at it this way. Bible said that David did not, or sort of one of them did not build a house for God. They asked the other son to build it because of the other one went for war and killed some people. But Dumego Juku is a military man. He has fought the war. Mazen Nanakan is a bloody civilian. So in this time around, that Mazen Nanakan become the Moses of our time. Moses is not a military man then. He's only the Israelite. So for me, let us use this name Biafra. It has never been sold anywhere. It's only that if you are going home until you go to, let's say you have got home. For now, this name is what everybody knows. And because of the contraction of Zoo country, they refuse to understand that we have did a fight. That it says such time to such time we have to call everybody together. Then for me, it's good for them to know who they are. But for this struggle, let nobody say that name Biafra has been sold. It has never been sold. We target using this name until we get to where we are going. That is why I said you don't play football and change goalposts. When I want to score, you move the goalpost. If you want to score, I put the goalpost. So my suggestion is that most men continue knowing who we are. Cannot make us that we cannot use the name. America, there is many villages, there is many towns, and whatever, but they have one name. So let's maintain our name Biafra in this struggle. Let us not even think of this name has been sold. No, it's not true. It's because of we are fighting. If you are eating something, if you are chewing something on your teeth, until you chew all and swallow is only the teeth and tongue will rest. So we cannot rest until we get Biafra. In the name of Biafra. That is all my own suggestion for this night.
Thank you.
For me.
Thank you for calling. Thank you. That was not a question, Pastor. So we are looking for question. Please, if you are calling us, ask question. Okay, we are looking for, because Pastor don't have much time. Hello, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, good evening, Nsima.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Hyacinth. My name is Hyacinth, and I'm calling from my location here. I wanted to ask Pastor just one question, because he said that as a man of God, it's not good for him. It's not good for him to pick up arms and fight. But the scripture rightly said one thing in Luke 19:27. I want to know if the pastor knows about Luke 19:27 and what Christ said in Luke 19:27. Because there in Luke 19:27, Christ said, those my enemies that does not want to see me prosper should be brought before me and slaughtered.
Pastor is laughing. Go ahead.
I'm telling you because he doesn't know. He really doesn't know. And now, in the same Bible, the Bible clearly said, teach the children of Israel how to war. In the book of Samuel, God says that he will train us how to fight. Why is the pastor omitting those parts? Number 3, does the pastor know that Kabul today that we have in Afghanistan is in the Bible? Does he know that Kabul is in the book of, I think it has to do with Joshua. It has to do with Joshua. I can't find, let me see if I can find the book again because I wrote it.
No, you have no time. What is your question, brother?
Okay. Now, what I'm trying to say is that since Kabul is where Joshua belongs to in the book of Kings, and today Kabul is under Islamic reign. Most of the regions in that area is under Islamic reign, apart from Israel. Idu is our name, our origin. It is who we are. Where was Bite of Biafra before then? He was saying something about Biafra. But I know very well that he doesn't know that the first Presbyterian church in Nigeria, the Christian church, was called the Presbytery of Biafra in 1858. And it was we that went to Scotland and brought those people down to our region to establish that church. It's not that they came. They said Christopher Columbus discovered America, but Kanka Musa of Mali had been going to America 200 years before Columbus ever went there. What happened to all this history? So if the pastor doesn't know most of these things, he should narrow it down to where he knows from. And he shouldn't be saying that Dr. Nelly is wrong. Dr. Nelly is, why I believe Dr. Nelly is that I'm a historian and a researcher. I know so many things. So for Dr. Nelly, that does not know any of this thing, coming up to say something that I already know for years before now, then that means she is right. And if you say you're a pastor, you are doing the work of God, at least you should go in and pray to God first, for God to give you direction, not to use your own human feelings. Isaiah came and he said, Hezekiah, make good your house, you are going to die. He left. Hezekiah turned around and spoke to God. And God, before Isaiah left the gate, God said, Isaiah, go back and tell Hezekiah that I've given him 15 years. That is the way people that has connection with God usually operate. It's not by saying by your own feeling or by your own understanding. Nelly never said anything about us changing anything. He said, just know your identity. And that is what the message she's trying to preach. We will get our, Onyendu said, we will get our nation with Biafra. It depends on us if we are going to maintain that name. And he said something about Idu. There is a lot of things that the pastor needs to know, that he needs to work on before he will come out, and before he will come out to say some certain things. Because now as he's saying this thing, it's like causing division between the flocks, the sheep. He should learn to be on the path of being a good shepherd. If he does it, let him go on Wikipedia now and check for Kabul. You will see it there. But the same Kabul today now, America deliberately handed it over to Taliban. Today, what are they trying to do to us?
My brother, you are not asking any question. I think you have made your point. What is your last word, please?
My last word is the pastor should try to make good with what is on ground and let us remain focused on getting our nation, be it with the name Biafra or Idu. We don't care. All we want is freedom.
All we want is freedom, oh, my brother. Thank you very much for calling. Thank you. I don't know, Pastor, if you have anything to say about this. Please unmute yourself.
The thing is, Nsima, that young man misunderstood. He's just contradicting himself. He cannot pitch me against Nelly. I never spoke against Nelly, so let's just bury that issue. And he himself said, whether Biafra you do, let us get our country. All we want is freedom. So as for my knowledge as a pastor, I've heard from him. In fact, he should give me his address. I'll travel and come and meet him for some tutorials on this pastoral ministry, so that maybe I could be one of his disciples. Thank him and God bless him.
All right. Thank you. Hello, what is your name and where are you calling from, please?
Hello, this is Olo Idu. Yeah.
Go ahead. What is your question for Pastor?
I have, it's not really a question, but a little question though, because I like the environment. This is a serene environment for Biafrans to talk, and I appreciate Pastor for all his contribution. Then I think what I have here is not really a question, Pastor, but I just want to, because it's not only a dead person that you can adjust. Everybody can adjust each other. Just like the last caller, everything the last caller said is in line, but only the tone. And that's why I appreciate how Pastor responded. Yes. Pastor didn't go ahead to say that the tone is only what is the problem. So my own now is, Pastor, thank you very much for all those things. What we have to understand in this scripture, and what I have learned is that the name Biafra has been existing for years before this our brother brought it to Ojukwu for us to consider. It has been existing in the sense that so many people that have answered that name has been dislodged. Some people had now run away to different places. So that maybe that was what made that man to bring it up. If another group can answer it, not even another group, some groups can return that name. So that's by the way. Another thing that I want to see here is this Bible. Pastor, I appreciate the fact that you said you want to come to Biafra land to establish your own biblical narrative. But I want to give it to you that there is more work you have to, God wants to use you. He wants you to come to preach this Bible in a different narrative, not as the same narrative that has been established now, because this narrative is a wrong one. Why I say it's a wrong one is because in Genesis chapter 4, because I have my Bible here, in Genesis chapter 4, where Cain killed Abel. After Cain killed Abel, remember that when God created Adam and Eve, we were told that it is only Adam and Eve. And when Cain killed Abel, Cain was dislodged. He sent on a fugitive. And when he traveled in that chapter 16 or thereabouts, he says, Cain dwelled in the land of Nod. And in that land of Nod, he married himself a wife, of which his children are those Methuselah, or those people that are causing problem today, that are bearing those names, Methuselah, causing problem. So this wife that Cain married, is he son of Adam and Eve? No. So it's another race that God created every race, every region. We have our own Adam and Eve in Biafra land. We have our own Adam and Eve in black. In black race. We have our own Jesus in black race. So this Jesus, they are projecting in this Bible. I want you as a pastor to be creative with it, because I don't want this Bible to slip off our hand. God gave us this Bible. Even let it be the white man, we don't care. We're going to use this weapon they gave us to rule them at the end. God gave us this Bible to bring it closer, to make it creative, bring it closer to our own doorstep, to our families. When we call Jesus, we bring that Jesus from our family and not the Jesus from afar. Then we will start to bring another narrative that will project our tradition, project who we are. We should not cling, because a boy that went for apprenticeship for 8 years, for 10 years, he must be led free. You can't continue being under apprenticeship forever. Having read this Bible for over 30 years, some of our parents read it and died. We need to enhance something from this Bible that will help us to go home and take our responsibility and build our houses. We can't continue shouting the Jesus of the white man, the Virgin Mary of the red man. We don't care. Our mothers, we ourselves, we are Virgin Mary of our own. We are Jesus of our own. We have to go and search and get where the dot meets. And when we read, why I say knowledge is power, I gain something from pastor, I gain something from others, and we have to continue researching. Nelly has come up with this revelation. Nelly never said this is her opinion. It is the Spirit of God. That's a revelation. And another advice to all of us, let us not hold too fast on whatever revelation, because even when Nelly delivered the revelation, it's like he's kind of now being engrossed into it. We should remember, even when God gave this guy to go to the land of Nineveh to go and preach, God is still, because he knows who God is, he says he's not going. And why he said he's not going, God really did it. When that guy went to Nineveh and eventually preached the gospel, God finally forgave the Nineveh. And he said, you see, that is why I didn't want to go in the first place. Now God has already taken his own decision again. He has changed his mind. So God can still change your mind. Even when the Spirit sent you on an event, anything. But then when you go, just the Lord has delivered the message. He should leave it like that. Let us not hype, continue hyping. Whether we are not changing after all. What I understand from Nelly, he didn't say we should change, although he might be hyping us in it, but we have to play low. But we don't need to object it. We don't need to strike it out because he's coming on the wrong. We don't need to even say that he's on the wrong time because we don't know. She said that God said we must do which must appease the land, and we must say it now. If we can believe this Bible, they said that you have to, you don't need to see it before you believe it. That is all the things they taught us in this Bible, so that we can continue to gulp in every trash they come up with. So why now the God is saying through Nelly, why can't we accept it and believe without asking questions? He just want to make peace with the land, just to tell when we agreed, I said, okay, Nelly, it's okay, we have had you. Okay, all the elders of the land, this is autopilot syndrome. Everybody mustn't do it. It's the elders of the land, we give it to you. Every Biafra land, the elders, go make a peace with the land. Ask, please forgive whoever we have wrong to forgive. Then we continue. Other people will still continue with other autopiloting job. All of us must not put head into that. Yes, so they will tell us fast. Everybody will fast wherever you are, whether you fast or not. Others will fast on your behalf. So we shouldn't come and be saying, this is wrong, this is not the right time, it will bring division. That's all I want to say, Pastor. That's what this Bible, George Orwell, when we read George Orwell 1984, that is a true life story. That's why I said that knowledge is power. We have to be absorbing, bring out ourselves to absorb knowledge. Because when we say the little one we know, then we put a bridge and say, no. Others will not come, then we will not get it. But when we listen to every trash that everybody says, we will be able to pick things and connect the dots. George Orwell, when you read them, it's a true life story. You will find out that even this Bible, they tell you will find out when the name of Peter, Paul was changed to, what is that guy that his name was changed from Simon to other? You will find out it's even when they kill people, when they know how enterprising you are. These rulers of the world, they know how enterprising you are. They use you to get what they want. They now kill you and bring another person and rename the person. They will tell you here the person has been baptized and changed to so many persons. My dear, they bring their own people and kill the person because they know that the person will continue to reveal that it is me that did this. It is me that did this. So those are the politics. We have to open up ourselves to be able to grasp how this thing is going. They are all metrics. They are the same people working on our brain, trying to reprogram us. That's what I want to. No one will say that this is the truth and this is all. We are so, and they use different things to confuse us. When they sell you, they say your name is Insema. They sell you, and they know that you are from Biafra land. They will go to North. They will name somebody Insema, so that when you want to come up to say, this is Insema, I thought it's not. They say no, it's not more. It's in the North. They bring confusion into us. We begin to be confused. We will not know anyway. I don't want to go and say I'm just a literal person, somebody that doesn't know anything. So those that have known something, when they speak, we will still know, and we will connect the dots. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Pastor, do you have anything to say?
Yes, Nsima, as you can see, our people, their body, they hurt well over this thing that is happening. They are not happy what we are passing through in Biafra. Both men and women, everybody is angry. Yeah, and
nobody's happy. I like what you are saying now.
Yeah, no, they are not happy, regardless of her approach or what she's saying.
Yes.
Because it is evident that we don't operate in confusion. The first speaker said that he's not against the do, but let us actualize Biafra, then we can look into the do issue. And Nelly sends me things. And I'm not against Nelly. Nelly speaks the truth in issues, and that's why I stand with her. So I did not say that I'm against Nelly. In fact, I discussed it with you. She's talking about the black Jesus. You know, all these things are the things. I think where they vex our people about the white man, and it's not something you should delve into. As they talk, leave that one. Then they go ahead as we do. You understand? But thank God for her, she did well.
Wow, Pastor, I never knew that you're a wise man. Because if you continue like this, you will not leave this place. Hello, what is your name and where are you calling from? I hope you have a question.
Yes, I have a question. I'm calling from Israel.
Oh, please go ahead. Well, we heard about the protest. Were you in the protest?
Yes, my brother. It was
wow.
very marvelous.
Wow, thank you. Please go ahead. What is your question?
My question is not question really, but I want to say something about two things. One, the issue of what Pastor said. I love the man. He spoke very fine. If other pastors are coming to speak like this, it'll be okay. But what I want to talk about the what Dr. Nelly said about the Idu and Biafra. Dr. Nelly did not say that we want to change the Biafra name now. What he's only saying, because some people in that our region, some of them say they are not Biafra. Now it's time for us to know ourselves as being one family, one DMA. So everybody acknowledge itself as Idu, as a general, so that we can fight that cause. He's not saying that we will change the name Biafra. Yes, Biafra has been registered. We are fighting for the Biafra nation. But he's saying that that name, let us know that we are one family. Let's not discriminate ourselves. I think I'm starting in order.
Yeah. What you are saying is fine. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, that is what Dr. Nelly said. Does not tell anybody to erase that name Biafra. She has not said so. To my own understanding, I know that.
She never said we should change the name anyways.
Wow. She never said so. And another one, I want to tell the other guy that spoke last before I was trying out, because the graduate I'm listening is what I'm using, because I didn't know that. But the one that I spoke about Israelite, that says that some of the pastors did not go to war. But what I want to say, I'm in Israel. Every man, every woman in Israel, whether you are a rabbi, you are anybody, everybody is trained to be a soldier. They are trained to carry a gun. So whether you are a rabbi, you are in the synagogue, when the thing happens and they come to your area, you are expected to take the gun and start fighting. And that is it.
Thank you.
So our men of God should come up. We are not telling them to come and carry gun, but they should give us the truth, the real thing, and the truth. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much for calling. Thank you. Thank you, brother. I know you still want to say something. We don't have time. Hello, what is your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Peter. I'm calling from my location.
Okay, what is your question?
Okay, my question is just want to ask the rabbi. I've decided to carry this struggle with arm. Is he gonna give us blessing to do that?
Okay, bye-bye.
Can I answer him?
Answer.
My dear brother, I feel your pains. And like I've always told our people, if you believe you are a Jewish man, the hand of God is with you in this battle. You will win it. Nnamdi Kanu believes he's a Jewish man. If you believe you practice Judaism, you are not God's enemy for being a Jewish man, because according to the word of God, concerning the election, you are beloved for the sake of the fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But concerning the gospel, you became an enemy of God because you didn't want to believe in Jesus Christ. So people like us now got born again and received Jesus into our lives. Now, if you want to go to war, look, if the hand of God is upon you, let me tell you the truth. The condition the Jews operate in the Old Testament is different from the condition of the Christians in the New Dispensation. But the same Old Testament condition with the Jews is still applicable in the present day Israel. And the present day Israel is not New Testament. No, they are still a continuation of the Old Testament because they don't believe in Jesus. So if they go to war, you don't fault them. If I stand now as a Jewish man like Ahmed Safati, let the Jews appreciate us as their people and say, hey, they are our brothers, so they have recognized us, they are coming to fight for us. So maybe if I stand and begin to talk now like I'm a Safati, blessing our soldiers to go to war, God will see me from the angle that even though I'm a born-again Christian, I'm a Jewish man. So I'm expected to pray for my brethren. But as a man of God, I'm seeing myself, first of all, as a born-again Christian. One. And then number two, as a Biafran. So my presence, my support, has nothing to do with your victory in the battle if the Lord is with you. For if God is with you, nobody can be against you. What I can say is this: the killing of our people is too much, and I don't like it. The killing of people in Kaduna, Taraba State, I don't like it. Shedding of blood is not good, for Jesus died for men to be saved.
Thank you, my brother. What is your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Cambodia. I want to ask Pastor. Pastor, good evening or good morning. Everything you say here, you're okay. Everything you say here is all right. You are in the right
Please,
position.
what is your
there.
question?
My question, I want to ask you a question. My question is, Pastor, what do you think that we Biafrans can do now so that Nnamdi Kanu can be released from the DSS dungeon? What do you think that we Biafrans should do so that our leader can be able to come out?
I think Pastor have answered that question already.
You have answered the question?
Yeah, did you just join? When I asked him the question, he said we should continue to do what we are doing. If anybody have more ideas, should bring it on board.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
What is your last word? Do you have something else to say?
My last word, I don't have much to say. All I want to say is you should keep it up. You are doing a good job.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Hello, what's your name and where are you calling from, please?
My name is Gift. I will not say where I'm calling from.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I want to ask Pastor two questions.
Two questions.
Pastor said that just two. He said that Jewish people don't believe in Jesus Christ. If they went to war, that because the anger of God will not be in them because they didn't believe in Jesus Christ. That Jesus Christ, where is he from? That's the question I want to ask him. Since the people that he was born in their country did not believe in him, he's the one that believed in them, in him. So
okay, is that your question?
Where is Jesus Christ from? Yes. Then second one. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
If some, but God forbid, if something, let's say now, somebody comes to a pastor's house, since they don't believe in carrying arms, and wants to kill them, and God showed them that this person is coming to kill you, is he telling me that he cannot carry arms to fight to defend himself? That is two questions. Then he answer me.
Yeah, thank you. Continue listening. He was going to answer you. Go ahead. Yeah.
That's a very intelligent question. You know, women, they know how to, point things that will touch you. Look, my dear sister, let's start from the second question. I have to be very frank with you. But I pray that God will not allow me come. The Bible says they have not temptation come to you, but such as is common to men. And God will not allow you to be tempted above that which you are able to accommodate, but will with the same temptation make a way of escape. The life of a Christian is a life of sacrifice and love. It's a very painful life. Forget about all these things. People normally teach you that you operate in prosperity, enjoyment. The life of a Christian is sacrifice, is warfare, is pains, until when you get into that kingdom that God promised us. Take, for example, as a young girl now, if I'm walking with you on the street and somebody attacks you, will I just keep quiet and watch? If I do that, you will not be happy. And then if I get up and fight in defense of you, you will like it. But then I may have offended God. So it's a very dicey thing. And may God help me not to run into it. Because I understand you have.
Oh wow. I don't know what happened there. Pastor is not there anymore. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Brother, ask me your question. Ask the question. When he comes back, I'm going to tell him. What is your question? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what is your question?
Yeah, you see my brother.
My name is Yiro Putife. So I was very happy when I see the announcement that Pastor EMEKA LIVINGSTONE is coming to your program. Yes. Because I used to follow. So, but there is something I want to add, because when he asks you your stand about it too, and when you ask him your stand, there's something looks like he jumped, you know. I want to add something for your side. Dr. Nelly did not say that he went to research. Dr. Nelly did not say that he went to research to get information about it too. Dr. Nelly didn't say that. Neither he said he got a revelation about that. And even when he got that, he is trying to hold it. He doesn't want to say it. He tried to hold it. You know, he tried to hold something. He was very, very scared about that. Having known what is going on the world with the DOS and the HOD, you know. So he tried to hold it, hoping that when Mazin Nandekari came out, he will give Mazin Nandekari the liberation. Because as I understand her, she normally gets this kind of liberation and pass it to Mazin Nandekari. But because Mazin Nandekari is not available, when she got the liberation, she didn't want to pass it out. But until she was forced to do that, even on the process of getting attacked, that is why she forced to say that. So, and secondly, Nelly is not trying to change the name of the struggle, like changing the Biafran name to Idu. Nelly is not changing that. Dr. Nelly is not changing that. Dr. Nelly is only saying that he has the liberation that our true identity, our true identity is Idu. That she was forced to say that our true identity is Idu. And we should understand that we are all Idu. We are the descendants from Idu. And if we did not accept this, Mazin Nandekari coming out is going to be jeopardized until we accept that. It's not that she went to research and they got that research and came. This is liberation. Just like the last woman that said that when Jonah got the same thing, he was asked to go to some place to preach the gospel. Jonah became adamant that he is not going until God sent fish to swallow him and take him to
Mazi, you have made your point. What do you want to say more?
What I'm trying to say is this. I love Pastor EMEKA LIVINGSTONE, and the way he speaks and the way he talks, he shows me that he can have access to Dr. Nelly. I would like Pastor EMEKA to get in contact with Dr. Nelly to ask her a question personally about this. Maybe he will.
Why should he do that? He never objected what Dr. Nelly said. He only said that the timing is his problem. And he has the right to say that. Because I think even you that is calling me don't also understand. When I said that there was a research, Dr. Nelly don't just only depend on the revelation. She has also done many research. And because I'm the one bringing her to the show, I know the research that she has done as well. Many people has been confirming to her, calling her and confirming. And that is right. Yeah. So we are all saying the same thing, but it's just the way we are understanding it anyways.
Yeah. But if it's based on just research, if it's based on that, if it's based on research alone, Dr. Nelly will not say it. She could have waited until Mazin Nandekari came out. But she said it because she was forced to say it.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah. All right.
Because she was forced to say it.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you for the program.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And may God bless you.
Thank you. Pastor, please answer that question that lady asked. She's still saying, please, you need to answer.
Okay. That young lady, the first question about, look, like if I'm with you now and somebody attacks you, I'm not going to allow that person to attack you and get away with it. I'm going to fight. That's the simple truth. I have applied my human wisdom to defend you, which is very reasonable. But the question now is,
Die Risikolebensversicherung von Verti. So gut fühlt sich Vertrauen an. So gut fühlt sich sicher an. Schon ab 3 Euro pro Monat. Und jetzt bis zu 75 Euro Amazon-Gutscheine sichern. Verti. Genau deine Versicherung.
is it the way God expects me to react as a man of God? So I speak as a man, and then I also speak as a man of God. Because you cannot tell me that I'm with you walking on the street, and a young man comes to start beating you, slapping you, or wants to abuse you, and I sit down, watch him, and you're walking with me. The reason why you're walking with me is that I should protect you, and I'm going to fight. And after fighting, I have to go back to God and kneel and say, Lord, I'm sorry. I was provoked that if I had left them, they would have killed this girl. So I had to fight to defend her. But then I'm confessing my sins to God. That means I've made a mistake. So I'm now in a strait betwixt obeying God and believing God that is going to intervene, which in the eyes of people is absolutely foolish. Or acting and helping the situation before people is reasonable, but it shows that I didn't have faith enough in God that he can handle the situation. So your question puts me in a very, very tough position on what to do. Then the second one you asked in respect to Jesus Christ. The Jews don't believe in Jesus. Didn't mean that Jesus is not the Son of God. The Bible says he came to his own and his own received him not. They didn't believe him. That's a fact. But then that doesn't mean that even right now, all the wars the Jews have passed through, they were all prophesied, even up to their independence in 1948. They were all prophesied. Even the Yom Kippur War, they were all prophesied in the book of Isaiah. So there are certain things which they are beyond you people when you talk. Christianity is different from Judaism, even though Christianity came out from Judaism and they relate, but the laws governing Christianity is different from that of Judaism. But as a man, when things are very bad and you are looking at me, maybe I'm with my wife in my room, relaxing with her, and you just come there as a young man, you climb on top of my wife and want to mess up. Boy, what do you expect me to do? Did you hear Deboye? He said, if you insult him, he can bear it. Abuse him, he can bear it. But if you play with his wife, he will kill you. That's what Deboye said. He was speaking as a man. But after killing you, what happens? And they were asking him, how are you going to kill? Is it physical killing? He said, no. That he's going to pray to God that God will kill you in a way that you don't have any reason to repent and come for judgment. That is, the killing will be permanent. So I'm still standing on my position as a man of God. Not what I want. It is what the Bible says. It's what the Bible says. It's not my mind. It's not thinking about myself now because I'm somebody's servant. I serve the God of heaven. So Jesus Christ, even though he was not believed by the Jews, he's still the Son of God. And eventually, he's the same person that will save the Jews when the time comes. When the time comes, they will run into trouble. That time is coming. It's in the book of Zacharias. Now, the other young man that just spoke, thank you, Sima, you explained to him. We are not against Nelly. And I have contact with Nelly. In fact, she just sent me a text. So Nelly's a good friend of mine. And I listened to her. You know, she's a very intelligent young woman. And she's very bold. She told me that it was a revelation. And you are also revealing that she also made research. So why should I contend with it? What I'm only saying is, since we are handling Biafra, once we just get Biafra, that thing can come on the table. She may be saying the truth. And that would be a very good thing for us. But for now, if you bring two names, it puts people into confusion. I don't know which one to follow. We've said this before. I don't think we should be overflogging the issue.
Yes, Mazi, don't worry about that. But I wanted to say that our pastors are funny. From everything you have explained. Oh my God. Hello, please, what is your name and where are you calling from? Yes.
Good evening, Pastor. My name is Obina. I'm calling from Biafra land.
Please go ahead. What is your question?
I will ask two questions. I want to ask the pastor. He says he's a man of God, and you know that God is a man of war. We have a God of war. Our God is a God of war. And when God wants to, liberate.
Wow, it's calling from Biafra land, so I think the network is disturbing. Sorry, Pastor, what do you say?
Yeah, can I make an explanation? You see this God of war?
Yes.
When they wanted to arrest Jesus, Hello? When they wanted to arrest Jesus in the garden, do you know what happened? Peter took his knife and cut off somebody's ear. And Jesus rebuked him and said, put back your knife in the sword. Don't you think I can call my Father in heaven to send me legions of angels? That means Jesus was not relying on human power to fight his battle. He was relying on the Father. One angel can destroy 185,000 Assyrian soldiers in one night. Just one angel of God, which the whole Biafrans cannot do. Now, look at our way of thinking. God is a man of war, even up to tomorrow. But for a believer now, I'm not greater than Jesus. The man I follow said, do you think I cannot ask my Father in heaven to send me 6 legions of angels to destroy these people? How can the scriptures be fulfilled? The God of we worship has said that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of the strongholds. Yet, as a human being, I find myself in a situation where, what if, like that girl said, I am being confronted in a situation with my wife or my daughter, or that girl in question? Will I just sit down and watch them rape her or kill her? I say, no, I will fight. But then if I fight, I have disobeyed God. But I have saved her life. I have to go back and begin to ask God for forgiveness for misbehaving. How long am I going to do that? If I go out the following day again, they do the same thing. I fight and destroy that person. I go back again and need to ask for forgiveness. Is that what I shall be doing to and fro? The Bible tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That's the point.
Yeah, please. Hello, brother. Are you back? Go ahead. Can you go straight to your question, please?
Let me say the second one, because he just talks about the God of war now. I just listened to him.
Yeah.
Now the second one, he talks about Jesus and God, and Jesus will save Israel when the time comes. What I'm trying to say is that the question is, the British, they are the one that bring this gospel to us in Biafra land. They forced us to believe. Now, before the birth of Jesus Christ, there was a God the British are worshiping. Because when you read...
did you say you have question?
Yeah, I'm trying to lay the foundation so that I will ask the question, please. Now, when you read Deuteronomy 4:19, God says that when you look up to the sky and see the stars, and see the hosts of heavens, the moon, the stars, the moon, even the hosts of my angels, do not derive to worship them, because I have given it to other nations under the whole heaven to worship. But you, Israel, I choose you to worship me, because I brought you out to the land of Egypt, to the land I promised your fathers. Now, you ask yourself, what are those people, what are those things they say they gave to these countries that worship these things? The moon is a god, a star is a god, the sun is a god. The Chinese and the Japanese, they worship all these Hindus, they worship the star and the moon. Even the Muslim, they worship this as the star, this moon, sorry. But the British, the Romans, the Greek, they worship the sun. And these people are the ones that bring this gospel to us, the sun. Now we say that we follow the Jews, we are the Jews. We follow the God's principle. We fight our battle, but first of all, you have to rise up and fight before God will come before you. You cannot lie down and say, you will not protect yourself, you will not protect your land. Now, another thing is that when Dr. Nelly is talking about Idu, when I was small, I was hearing Idu Oba, when I was small. Now, when the Dr. Nelly bring the analysis of this Idu, I now realize I have been hearing this thing before Biafra. I have been hearing this name of Idu Noba. There's a war between Idu before I heard about Biafra. Now, you pay the point that the not already brings the time he brought this thing is very, very early. It's up to keep it so that when Biafra comes. My question is now, between God and Jesus, who are we to follow?
Brother, thank you very much for your question. Bye. Pastor, please answer your question.
Let me answer him quickly, because he quoted the scriptures. Now I just quote the scripture. I'm not going to make any comment. I'm just going to quote the scripture. 1 Corinthians chapter 8. He talked about, the man talked about Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 19, about the gods in the sky. People worship so many gods. Now listen. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, from verse 4, it says, as concerning therefore the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world, and that there is none other God but one. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many, but to us there is but one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Lord Jesus Christ, by whom are all things, and we by him. Howbeit, there is not in every man that knowledge. That's where I stop.
Pastor, thank you very much. I thought I stopped my question, but you know, I'm just laughing at all these things you are talking. And you have said you make references to lots of things in the Bible. But my question is, why is it that we are still being killed when we have these men of God with this power that angels can rise up and kill many these things? You can call up legions to do this. Why is it that we are still being killed? And even the pastors being killed as well. And they are not doing anything.
Which men of God with power? Which power are you talking about?
They read the Bible that has lots of power, right?
The reading of the Bible is not for the purpose of brandishing power, because God is not an idol, a juju in the village, which when you do sacrifices, the demons begin to work on your behalf. It's the prerogative of God to decide what to do, when to do, and whom to do it. You are merely a servant. And the man whom we follow, Jesus Christ, while he was on earth, people were killed in his presence. He came to preach the gospel of the kingdom. So don't ask the question, why are the pastors there and they're killing people? No. The question is, why are we being killed? We are being killed because we have found ourselves in a situation which God has allowed, but he will mitigate on it at the time he has appointed. Meanwhile, the pastors who are men of God should open their mouth and speak, because sometimes if you speak, words are powerful. It could go a long way to stop leaders. The reason why evil prosper in the land is because good men have refused to speak against evil. Therefore, evil continues unabated. So if you don't speak against evil, it continues unabated. But when you speak against it, it can stop. That is where the problem is. It is not in the power of the pastor to call angels from heaven and destroy people. No, God, you don't manipulate God into doing your will. But it is in the power of the pastor to speak against wickedness and iniquity in the land. And that means you as a pastor will first of all lead by example. The reason why we don't talk to the leaders in the country is because we have compromised. We go to their office. We support them politically. They call us and give us money. There was a pastor in the pastors in Nigeria, when they gave money for palliatives, they took this money and bought a lot of things, kept them in their churches or in their storehouses, distributed a few to people, and kept others for themselves. That is not a good example. Because the government in power know that the palliative that was given to you was not evenly shared. You kept some. So that is a minus against you. If you speak against them, they will go and expose you where you ate that, and you go to jail for it. So if I've compromised my position, boy, trust me, I will not criticize you as the government, because I know you know my secret. If I understand that by supporting you, give me money. One man that tried to say something against the government, you know, they just killed him. What's over there, my life here, right? So most of us don't talk because we have contact with the government. They help us. They give us money to take care of the church, the family, and the ministry. Very, very few don't do it. Very, very few.
Pastor, I have a big problem here. You just said that Dr. Obadiah said something, was even preaching and advocating for Christians, but he was killed. And you are telling me, and we know that he was killed directly either by the government or leaders or any of those actors. But you are telling me that it is God, it is not in the power of the pastors to decide how to defend our land, but you are telling me that it is God that is allowing these people to be killing us. Is that God not wicked?
No, listen to me. That brings me to something which I've been wanting to discuss before now. Slavery. There were discussions that there was a time they talked about atonement for the land, the slavery we have got ourselves involved with that has caused us to be in this problem. And I say it is not true. Slavery did not start from Biafra land. Slavery started even from at the earliest point in life. Many nations have been involved in slavery and God saw it and kept quiet. Sometimes it goes to an extent where he will now intervene and fix things by raising up people that will fight against that slave masters, kill them and liberate their people. The Roman Empire got destroyed by the invasion of the Visigoths using the Danube River. And the Visigoths were from the land of Germany. They were able to conquer and go inside Roman Empire and bring down the power, the indestructible Roman Empire. But meanwhile, Roman empires existed for years, killed people, killed Christians, born-again Christians that were thrown into lions' den in amphitheaters just for fun. They were eaten alive by lions. Some were burned at stakes. Some were just shot point blank. Some were used habergeon. They put them in their stomach. Some were dragged by horses, their foot tied on a rope, dragged through the whole city, and their faces got disfigured and they died gruesome death. God will judge men for their wickedness and their action. But then, within men, I said something, because the people who committed slavery are even more guilty than those who were taking slaves. We were taking slaves. The people who are more guilty of slavery, but if ironically they are still progressing, are the British people. It is on record that British took $45 trillion from India. And that means without the collecting of this money from India, from Africa, Britain as a nation cannot sustain itself. But gradually the strength of Britain is being decimated. Like Mazin Nandikano said, she's no longer the great British Empire. It's just ordinarily Britain. Because many countries are leaving. For evil cannot continue forever unabated. God must do something. So, the killing of people is not something which we like. It's not a good thing. I pray and I speak to pastors. You cannot do anything to change it, but talk. This is wrong. Desmond Tutu of South Africa is noted for speaking against violence, killing of people. Desmond Tutu that just died a few days ago. He spoke against it. Now, we need people who speak against, because generally speaking, the society needs peace and harmony, cooperation among each and every one of us. Nobody knows who will be tomorrow. Maybe Biafra might come out tomorrow and be a great nation. And people from the north that need help might still come to Biafra, take this thing, visa and come and find jobs in Biafra, get better education to go back and develop their place. It can happen. It can happen. So that is why when you are in government, don't kill people. Don't treat people as if they are slaves, because the tables can change tomorrow. Now, for me as a man of God, I will speak this boldly. Speak against evil.
Pastor, this is the question I want to ask you before I let you go, because you say you are not very fine.
Yes.
Because if I want to allow you, there are lots of questions, people calling.
No, I'm already getting tired.
Yes. Let's just talk this thing, because I think I'm putting it in perspective. You say people should speak, pastors to speak. Why should pastors speak when we know that the government is the one killing people? Because we are living in Europe. We are, for example, in the UK. We have never seen the government sponsor people to come and kill their own citizens. Anywhere in Europe, we have never seen this. But it's only in Africa and some places where there is Bible and some other religion. Why do you think it's happening?
There is a problem. There's a problem. This thing you have asked now, we take it even one step further. Why pastors should speak is the reason why lawyers of Biafran origin in Britain should gather together and speak, make their presentation in the parliament. They have brothers who are members there. That is why lawyers who are in America of Biafran origin should get up and make their presentation. That's why lawyers of Biafran origin in France, in Germany, but they are not doing it. That is the same problem. That is the same problem with the pastors. They cannot, because if the clergymen gather together and say, look, we don't want this, they send a representation to come and meet. They have connection to pastors in America. And those pastors have great ministries that the government listens to. And they connect these pastors and hold a conference. And they draw them to the congressmen and tell them the problem they're having. You will see effect. They are not doing it. The same thing with lawyers of the Igbo, the Biafran extraction in Britain, they're not doing it. I've watched them. Nothing. They're not saying anything. Everybody's just on his own, minding his family, making his money, doing his business.
Pastor Emeka, I want to allow you to go now. I want to say thank you very much, because I know it's not easy to be here for the past 3 hours, almost 4 hours.
I'm grateful.
I will give you opportunity to say your last word. What would be your advice to Biafrans? Because as you can see, Biafrans, we are desperate to have our freedom. In fact, every conversation that anybody is bringing is that what we want is our freedom. So that is just the bottom line of everything. So what will be your advice for Biafrans at this trying time? Thank you very much.
My advice is not just to Biafrans, because Biafrans already are poised on getting their freedom. My appeal is to the government of Nigeria. It is there in the article, according to this agreement they signed in the time of Lord Lugard, after 100 years or something, people can sit down and determine whether they will continue as one or not. Now, having looked at what has happened so far within the past 100 years, is there anything that we have on ground that should, make us stay as one, continue as one, encourage us to stay at one? If it is there, then where is it? And let us see, because these agitations will not be taking place. If it is not there, then give us a chance. And then the separation can be in a peaceful order without anybody being anybody's enemy. Because why I'm saying this is, Biafrans have investments scattered all around Nigeria. And it would be nice if tomorrow, if Biafra comes and Biafra develops to what God has ordained them to be, and then Biafra turns out to be a help to Nigeria in terms of technological transfer. Not only Nigeria, other African countries. So let us see this problem as a problem against the black man. Let's come as a team. Okay, since we cannot stay together and work as a team because of misunderstanding, you stay your side, I stay, but we are not enemies. And as you develop, if I need your help, I need you to come to my country and give me an idea, or you need my help, I come to your country and give you an idea, so that we can develop and make Africa a great continent. Because if only Biafra develops and we have all the money, and then you designate specific people as enemies for life, there are so many innocent people, civilians that are there that didn't support it. They only found themselves in the wrong part of the divide because of governmental activities. So my appeal is to the Nigerian government, please, let this thing be done amicably. Let the Biafrans go. And then as for Biafrans, we have to work as a team. I understand that DOS missed it somewhere. Whoever is trying to gather Biafra together, we can work with them, watching them very well, so that whatever they want to do must be in line with what the Biafrans believe and according to what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu taught them. Let there be no misunderstanding. This issue of cursing one another on Facebook, every time you say he's a fool, she's an idiot, she's a prostitute, God punish your mother and your father, it is not good. It shows the kind of spirit we have inside us. It's a spirit of anger, frustration, bitterness, hatred, unforgiving spirit. How do we expect God to help us out of our problems? So I beg of you, Biafrans, keep the spirit, have faith in God. Whatever you can do to make Biafra comfy, do. Keep praying. Trust God, it will work out fine. As for pastors, please, men of God, speak. Unukuoku, especially those of Igbo extraction. Unukuoku, you should talk against evil. Don't be afraid. God will see us through. Not as if I'm telling you that you should go and condemn or kill anybody, but speak so that evil will be abated. Reason, argue your point very well on Facebook or social media. Let the government here take a representation, like Ohanes and Ndibo did the other time. They went and met Buhari on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu. That was a bold move. If the pastors can gather together and go and meet him and say, Mr. President, we have come to talk to you about our son. We ask you that you should listen. If after Ohanese went and pastors went It will be pungent, it will be punchy, it will be strong. It will show that there's a strong representation. The lawyers of the Biafran origin that are in Britain, gather together, go and make representation in the House of Commons. Let them take it to the House of Lords. Those in America do the same thing. Those in France do the same. Don't just leave it to the Biafran people who are doing their normal jobs. Maybe they work in cafeterias or, you know, gas stations or doing caregiving jobs. They make out their time to come and give. You watch them on Facebook. When you are professionals, your voices are heard in the courts of law in Britain. You are professionals. You have the ears of the House of Commons. You have the ears of the government. We need you to come out and speak and keep talking. That's what Nnamdi Kanu did alone, and the whole world came to realize this. How much more where we are many. Thank you very much, Nsima. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to say you did a very nice. I mean, you spent a lot of time. I can see people are happy, but they might want you to come back because they still have lots of questions for you. And also remember, the reason why people can't speak is because when they speak, they become a target and they can capture them. And that is also one of the things that making them not to speak. So I want to say thank you very much, Pastor EMEKA Livingstone. Hopefully I'll be able to have you back these days, any other time, but because we have learned a lot from you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank
God
you.
Bless you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Have a good day. God bless you, Biafrans. Shalom.
All right, bye-bye. Bye. Wow, that was our Pastor EMEKA Livingstone. I believe he did a justice to this. I mean, question and answer is not easy. But I want to say thank you guys for your comments and your questions as well. Yeah, it's wonderful for learning something from another person who is a pastor. I believe we learned a lot, even as it's not everything that I agree to what we are doing or what we are talking, but it's okay. Many people have different opinions.